Hello and welcome. We are back with another live stream. Uh, let's do this. We're
Yeah, it's
uh
been,
we're
been
playing
a
we're playing
while.
some PlayStation 2 games today. Specifically, we're playing PlayStation 2 launch games. So I figured with the next gen stuff coming up, we can't stream that stuff yet. That will come in time. But I thought it would be fun to sit back and go through. I've got a stack of games here and more than that, just ready to play. And we're starting off with some Ridge Racer 5, which I think is one of the best racing games ever made. What do you think, Audie?
It's definitely up there for me too. Do you think this is one of the best launch games on the PS2?
Yes, for sure.
I would agree with you. I think this is one of the ones I had the most fun with.
And right here from the beginning, this this intro, man, like the quality of this, seeing this running in real time, 60 frames per second with all this animation and camera work and effects, like it was super impressive at the time.
Yeah, I
Uh,
couldn't. I mean,
so
this.
let's hop
I,
in
I
here,
remember when
man.
this launched. Just what I
So,
noticed most though, by when this launched, was that there was a new girl that was used to
oh
every
yeah,
time I
I
got the
Fugami.
yeah
Yeah,
I
it's a,
Fukami. It
that's right.
was a big deal back then.
So I think I'm running with. I don't have the menu or the memory card in there. So I where can I do the yes, you can do like that, like that. Oh yeah. So this is interesting. So this actually has. So for those that don't remember, I can't turn on scan lines, dude, because that absolutely destroys the image. And also, I actually I tried to use the Frame Meister because it's better for 480i, but it just wasn't working with my capture card. So this is we're
Right.
actually using the retro tank. So you're probably going to get a little bit of jitter visible in the image. So I apologize about that in advance. But so do you guys remember the PS2 had analog buttons, so you could actually press, get a variable amount of. I actually don't like that feature except
I
for in.
hated this feature.
I think it's
There was
cool in Metal Gear, but
It's
that's it.
about the only place I would say it was cool, right? I mean, it's pretty underutilized as an idea, but I just never liked it. There was a lot of games that I felt this didn't really benefit from.
Oh, so the flicker is actually because a lot of games used field rendering where it would literally alternate between odd and even scan lines, taking full advantage of interlaced televisions. If you play it on a nice CRT, I actually think it looks really good, like super sharp. Other consoles back then would actually they used like Dreamcast, Xbox, GameCube. When played in interlaced mode, they used a built-in flicker filter, which I actually think is a little aggressive now. PS2 games, it could vary. Developers had full control over this, so the PS2 has a lot of different display modes, which is why things are so variable. So yeah, let's actually continue into this here. Okay, I gotta play it. I have a little screen here I'm gonna play on. Hopefully that we'll just do Soul Value, named after some classic Namco action there. I still love these menus too. Won't
Yeah,
save it because I don't
absolutely.
have any space on the memory card. So
Yes, you are playing the Japanese edition of this.
yeah, I figured. So one of the things is the American version. I actually have both here. They actually have the exact same cover art, which is interesting. Where is it? Oh yeah, here we go. So yeah, but it's kind of hard to see in the camera. But if you turn it around, you got the slightly different back, a little more stylish on the Japanese side here. But the American version has weird audio popping for some reason. I never figured out why. Maybe it's just the launch versions,
Hmm. I cannot remember this
but
being a
it's
problem
very
in
subtle
Europe.
and it's annoying. So I always end up playing the Japanese release because it's a little bit better sounding. Um, people. So this is the thing is, I hear a lot of the PS2 has bad image quality. I don't agree with that, but it's one of those things where it needs to be played on the right display. Uh, and I actually think like these field rendered games look super clean and like awesome. Like they're pixely, but in a really cool way on the right display. But I can understand why people would look at this and be like, "Oh no, I don't like that." I get it. And on the street, is there no game audio?
It doesn't seem like it. Some people are saying Are we not meant to hear the game audio? Of course you are. We'll try to fix it then.
Are you watching the stream, Audi?
I am.
Can you hear any audio?
No.
What the heck's going on there? Let me pull it up myself. See if we can actually get some sound.
It doesn't seem like it. Some people are saying, are we not meant to hear the game audio? Of course you are. We'll try to fix it then.
Are you
No
watching the
sound
stream,
because of
Audi?
copyright music. I am. Don't know
Can
about
you
that.
hear any audio?
No.
I'm actually seeing it come through. What the heck's going on there? I don't understand. Pull it up myself. See if we can actually get some sound.
It doesn't seem like it. Some people are saying, are we not meant to hear the game audio? Of course you are. Yes, I am asking where all the audio because of copyright music. I have not seen a single audio.
Any audio?
No.
I'm actually seeing it come through. Oh man, that's really annoying. I don't know what's going on there, other than what could possibly go wrong down there with Bubsy. I think he's causing it.
You think he's disrupting the sound? We just have
so.
more one-liners, if not.
Yeah. That's super weird that I'm not getting any game audio then.
Yeah, it wouldn't be under copyright, this stuff, so that shouldn't be it.
Well, for now I'm going to continue. There was sound for a sec. What if I...
Yeah, it was a quick burst of sound. That's right. I could barely hear it, but yeah.
Oh no, I blew somebody's eardrum. I'm sorry.
Luckily, I have the stream audio extremely low, so I don't echo myself, but...
No sound. Okay, actually, I'm gonna stop and just sit here and try to figure out the sound problem first, and then I'll restart the race. Do we have a couple super chats in there?
There was one that said that we were working on a Sunday, a major respect. Yeah.
Well, thank you. Yeah.
I'm just helping out. Then Ryuichi Sakamoto, which would you consider to be the most technically impressive? The OG Xbox, the PS2, or the game OG Xbox or the GameCube? Same goes for PS2 or the Dreamcast.
Is it okay? You guys have to let me know if it's any better now. I know it's a little bit delayed in the chat.
Yeah, let's see.
Let's see here.
We ask you once we have the audio here.
I love that shot right there with the building reflections. No William Jaggies plus no anti-aliasing is not horrible. It's awesome. Any luck? No sound? What? Okay, this is driving me nuts.
Almost had to bleep and beep you there.
What could be going on here? Sorry guys. This has not happened before, so I'm not really sure why it's acting this way. So
say hello to Brazil. Oi Brazil, tudo bem?
Okay, I have an idea. Let me try something here. If I do
yes.
Blow on it.
Oh, I think there is some kind of issue possibly with the capture card.
Yes.
Because this is not behaving correctly at all. No, I'm getting sound to my little monitor.
It's a testament to a racing game looking this good, not moving though, I should say.
Yeah, this is super weird. Well, I don't actually know what's wrong with the sound right now. I really have no idea. It just doesn't work. So alas, we're just gonna have to continue without game audio, I guess.
It's not like Ridge Racer is known for its great music or anything.
I don't. This is driving me nuts. I have no idea why this is behaving this way. Because I'm seeing the audio on the mixer bar here. Like you can see it just fine.
Yeah, it must be something with the capture card then.
3, 2,
Unless
One,
wait, did that fix it?
go!
We'll find out soon.
And they're off. The cars are streaming past the starting line.
I might have to. There was sound for a split second.
Oh, sound now.
Is it working?
Yeah, everyone's saying there's sound.
Okay. Okay, we did it. We made it.
We're back. We're
We've
driving
got,
again.
We've got
We got
Audi
gas in the
and
tank.
audio on here.
Yes.
Is
One
it-
can be removed, I'm sure.
Yes. We did it. All right. Thank you everybody in the stream chat, you guys. We figured it out. This is what it's all about, man. Now I can
Sound in the
properly
games.
restart. Look at that. Sound. It says sound right there in the options menu too, because now we have it.
Signs from above, my friend.
Let us retry this for real this time.
Yes.
Now we can finally enjoy some Ridge Racer. Oh, only 2 chances left.
Race is about to start. We're bringing
So there was a problem with the one of the output options in the properties on the retro capture because I changed capture cards before this
2,
Oh, did you?
because the other one was having an issue. And wow, okay. By the way, did I miss any super chats while I was dealing with that?
Yeah,
Okay,
so there
I
was
need to
one
focus
question.
on driving a little bit now.
Right. So there was a super chat question. Which one do you think is the most powerful of the OG Xbox and the GameCube? And also the same question for PS2 and Dreamcast.
I think Xbox was more powerful, for sure, but the GameCube is a really nicely engineered box. And between PS2 and Dreamcast, that's easy. I mean, PS2 is definitely much more powerful overall, but Dreamcast is beautiful hardware in its own right. There's a lot of great stuff going on there, so I love them all. They're all amazing boxes.
Someone's asking about the audio, about the video quality of my webcam. I was gonna make a joke that I'm using the iToy as my webcam today.
Yeah, it's pretty.
There's something going on with the driver with it, so I'm buying a new one this week. So
Oh, just for me?
just for you.
Oh, that's awesome. So now we can hear these beautiful sounds of Ridge City. So yeah, man, this game, oh, I love this game so much. It's just, there's something about the controls. It just feels so good to play, and the music and the visuals. It's just this perfect experience. It's just one of those. What?
Yeah, I have to ask, what was more powerful of the PS5 or the Amiga 500?
Oh man, that's close.
That
Well,
is a
here's
close
the
race.
thing: you couldn't edit videos or make video games on a PS5.
It's true. Got the video toaster, you can do everything you want on the Amiga.
That's true. Any super chat action? I catch a blue
Yes,
thing out of the corner of my eye.
It kills me that Ridge 5 is forever trapped on the PS2.
Yes, my friend,
But it
I agree
belongs
with
on the
you.
PS2.
No,
Do
you're
you
right.
think so?
I love it on PS2, but I would like to see it appear somewhere else because even with PCSX2,
Yeah.
some people say, "Oh, it's somewhat fixed," but there's still issues with it. Like it's never been fully 100% emulated correctly, and it's very frustrating. But yeah, aside from the slight image quality, which really, this looks good on a CRT. On the stream, it's probably pretty bad. But I love the visual design of this game.
Oh, me too. I mean, this I associate this with like some of the best gaming I ever had. Like this time, this look that just brings me right back to like
Also,
a great place in life.
you're watching the stream as well, right? So how does it actually? How does this look on the stream?
Oh, it looks great. I mean, considering some of the games you've been showing me lately, I mean, you can definitely tell some of its age, but this looks amazing for its time.
Oh man, I did terrible on this race. That's okay. This is a live stream. This is usually how it goes, you know. Love the little
Who's part-
Pac-Man graphics there.
Yeah. Well, it's an Namco game. You gotta represent your brand. Who's more powerful, Mario, Sonic, Ryu, Hayabusa, or Bubsy?
Uh-oh. You're going with Bubsy, aren't you?
I mean,
Yes.
a ninja is trained to handle any type of situation or element, but you can't deny the fur coating on a bobcat being pretty strong. So yeah,
Okay.
let's go Bob.
So we got some replay
Plumber.
here. I see my man Lewis is in the chat, who works at
Yeah.
an awesome arcade in the UK that I want to visit so
Okay.
bad. Someday we're gonna get there, visit that
Yeah.
place. He says, "Evening to you both. The PS2 launch titles let us see the beginnings of what the little black box was capable of. Absolutely loved it, and I love it too. I love the PS2. What a great machine."
Yep, I absolutely love the PS2. I never played the Xbox much, but I did play along GameCube and PS2.
Yeah, man. Oh, so as for what the next launch title will be when we get, so I have a bunch of them. I don't actually have every launch title, but I've got a decent
Close.
chunk of them here.
Yeah.
So we'll get there. Let's continue a little bit further here to the next race. Get ready for the next race. Yeah, Ridge Racer 5. Like, so this game is so nostalgic for me because this was also the first game I ever played on an import PS2 before it came out in the US. And then I know it got a lot of negative attention for the Jaggies, but as I've since learned, one of the problems is that capture gear at the time could only do single frame capture. So when press was capturing the game, they were only getting half the fields, which made it
Oh,
look
is that
extra
right?
chunky. So the screenshots looked really bad because they were missing half the picture information. And there wasn't
Isn't
really an
that-
easy way to capture it, so it suffered.
Isn't that amazing to think of? Like, just the fact that that impacted so many people's opinion of this game is just the way it was captured for press.
Yeah, exactly. It was terrible.
Oh,
Oh, and
Super Chat
yeah.
saying, I have a very fond memories of Kessen 1 to 3. I have a very fond memories of Kessen 1.
I like Kessen as well.
Yeah. Jackdaw saying there's a great arcade version of this game. Yes, there is.
Yeah, I have a System 246 board actually, and I've been wanting to get this game for it, but I need to figure out if I can play it without using like a wheel setup.
Yeah, we've been trying to figure that thing out.
At least I can play Tekken 4 on there, and I think Soul Calibur 2.
Oh, we'll get to Tekken 4.
I need to get.
I love
I
that
need to
game.
hook up the System 246 one of these days and do a video. Oh man, look at the way this the sunlight that as it filters through the trees there, like it's so beautiful. Just like I love the aesthetic, this like dusk atmosphere, the sky, the gradient, the color, like it's just
You and I talked about this before when talking PS2, and as you probably need a change of pants there.
yeah.
The performance on PS2 launch titles, just the consistent performance of so many of those games is amazing. isn't
Dude,
it?
nearly every game is 60 frames per second at launch. I think I actually
Yeah.
counted it, and 20 of the 26 North American launch titles are actually 60,
Is this the
which is an
only-
achievement. That's a heck of an
Yeah.
achievement.
Has that happened since?
With a
I
3D
mean,
console, no.
yeah,
PS2
I was
had
gonna say.
the most 60 frames per second games of any 3D console ever released. It's really the thing is though, is there's a few big titles that people remember that don't run that well, but if you actually look at the library as a whole, it's predominantly 60, and it has to do
Yeah.
with the way the display modes work by default. So a lot of developers just opted for the 60 FPS, 60 hertz interlaced mode.
For me, the launch of this was so exciting because I'm a huge fighting game fan, and for us in Europe, we can look forward to Street Fighter EX3, which I absolutely love.
We'll play that tonight.
Dead or Alive Hardcore,
Also.
2 Hardcore, a great game, and then Tekken Tag, of course. And I have played Tekken Tag in the arcade, and man, the PS2 version of that was legendary. Lewis asking, can't you force progressive scan modes using special software? Yes,
I know what he's talking about, and
Yeah.
kind of. So in a-
kind of.
A large chunk of PS2 games, yes, but that requires that the game itself renders progressively internally, which a lot of them do. Like, Metal Gear Solid 2, it didn't support 480p, but internally it is actually progressive, so that works. Games like Ridge Racer
5.
Yes, Ridge Racer 5 though actually uses a true interlace mode, so you can't force it into progressive scan due to the way it actually renders itself.
Yeah. Used to love Bloody Roar 3. Yeah, man. Bloody Roars, I played that so much as well.
That's right.
It's kind of gone now. I
Didn't-
mean, the last Bloody Roar kind of game we got.
Didn't you have to run out to do a little errand real quick?
Oh
my
yeah,
friend?
I have community service for 10 minutes. I have to go do that. So during these 10 minutes, my significant other will be reading the super chat for you guys, and then I'll be right back as I pay my debt to society. We will be right back.
We'll see you
But-
again in like 10 minutes or whatever. So
I will just answer this. Someone asking if I played Garuden Breakdown Fist or Trolls. Yes, I have
That's right.
basically every fighting game on almost every system. I can't wait for you to come and see my collection, John. So that will
excellent.
be a fun video probably to do.
All right.
So Vivi, as I have to leave for a few minutes, will we read the questions from the fans?
You can hang out and chat.
You can hang out and chat. Did you play PS2? Okay, it's a video game console.
I know that.
Oh, don't do that.
I'm just joking. Vivi plays a lot of games, but usually these days play Animal Crossing and Stardew Valley. Usually. Yes. Alright, I will be right back.
All right. So Audie's heading out for a little bit to take care of some stuff. So, you know, that's how it goes. But we are here just hanging out. So, hello, Vivi. Can you hear me yet?
I can hear you, yes.
All right. So, si tu
I can
veux,
see.
on peut parler en français. Mais je suppose que le chat, il préfère anglais.
Oui, probablement.
Okay. All right. So, let me think about this here. So this is tremendous fun. We should pop in something else. Maybe something that Audi would have less to say about. So this is an interesting one. Let's see. So we're gonna move on from Ridge Racer, which I don't like doing that because I mean Ridge Racer is awesome, but I thought it would be fun to top this in while Audie's away. Unreal Tournament.
Ooh.
Shall we do that? So,
Yeah,
do you know
sure.
Unreal Tournament?
Yes, I do actually.
That's what I thought. So this one's so this is another one that shipped on. So if you guys don't remember, PlayStation 2 had two types of discs. It had DVDs, which were silver, and then it had blue discs, which were just the CD-ROMs. And this is obviously on a CD-ROM. So let's reset this console, swap in this game. Why that reboots?
Do you know anything about time splitters?
Out of all the launch games for PS2, Time Splitters was easily the best one. It is. I was having issues with my copy, though. It was crashing on me. So we might try that a bit later, but it was a little bit weird. But Time Splitters was involved. Some of the developers that had worked on GoldenEye, Perfect Dark, they split off from Rare and formed their own studio, and they made that game. I do.
So it was a first-person shooter also?
Yes, it was. It was like a 60 FPS, sort of a deathmatch style kind of game. Okay, so wait for the capture card. I did get Pumpkin Jack, by the way. I just haven't played it yet, but it looks awesome. So, also, you're right. Somebody says painful noises with blue discs. That's one of the problems with the PS2 is it has the two lasers to read both red and I guess it's the DVD and the CD, or maybe it's not two lasers, but you need to adjust them independently, and sometimes they would go out of whack. So got this nice menu here. Wow. We just got to go with Brock. Look at that guy.
That's the original 1999 game? Like the same
So
as the PC?
yeah, so basically, for the chat, little backstory. I think I've done a DF retro on this, but the idea was Epic was bringing its PC game Unreal Tournament obviously to consoles. There was a Dreamcast port done, and then there was this version, and I think Epic themselves actually worked on the PlayStation 2 version. And one fun thing is I believe if you plug in a mouse and keyboard on this, and I need to double check, but I think it works.
Yes.
Which is super cool.
Yeah, it is.
Oh, do we have a super chat there?
Yeah, what is he saying? Glad to see my favorite tech reviewer got his hands on the CX. I've got the 55-inch in my office. Do you feel it has added that wow factor to PS5?
Definitely. It's been excellent so far. Wait, what happened here? Uh-oh. Oh, there it goes. Oh, so the game actually changes screen modes during the loading screen. But yeah, the CX has added a lot. It's really great for next gen consoles for sure. I love the way it looks and the features for for HDMI 2.1. It helps a lot. So, all right, here we are.
Someone else is saying, would love to see the loading and switching games via activity cards and how fast
Oh,
it is.
jeez.
Directly into levels or mission. Is it supported by third party?
Oh, he's talking about PS5 stuff still, yeah. I do need to show some of that. Wait, hold on. Look at the default here. Strafe, pitch, turn, move. Wow, okay. Turn, pitch, I think I want. And I need, oh no, not reduce gore. Wow, this is a pretty interesting. Invert Y. Wait.
Everything is inverted?
Okay, activate that. Return to game. Oh no, that was inverted and it's super. What the heck? And it's super slow. So this is actually an interesting thing then. This type of like back then the dual analog stuff was still kind of somewhat new, I guess you could say. And so like game defaults were pretty bad. And in this case, it's definitely bad. Okay. There we go. We finally have something. Okay, and it has the it's still. Look at this. It still snaps up. When I walk forward, it looks back up each time. This is awful. I mean, why does it do this? Okay, so maybe I can't do anything about that. Whatever. Okay, so actually this version is really interesting because it actually does kind of look better than the Dreamcast version, which might be surprising, but the textures were better, which you would never have expected. Actually, looking at this real quick, I think the RGB range is off on my capture card here, so let me change this here. I don't know if that actually helped. Maybe not. I don't know. That's weird.
It looks fine to me.
Okay. Looks a little dark on my screen.
Yeah, it is a bit dark. But I mean, I remember Unreal Tournament to look kind of dark too.
That's true. This is another game that was made for being played on a CRT. So, you know, it does not control very well on here, to be honest.
Yeah,
Like
I never played.
it's got this like weird, like the way the aiming feels. It's very kind of juddery. So like normally you could feel like you can fine tune your left and right movement, but here it's kind of like you get there's a huge dead zone, and then it just kind of starts going at high speed after a certain point.
Yeah.
And you rely a lot on auto aim on the PS2 version, which is just not that much fun.
I only played on PC for that reason.
Yeah,
I don't really like.
absolutely. Oh, is there a super chat? I see a color.
Yes. Wait. Is it the same one as earlier? Oh no, it's a new one. So Chris Fratz is saying cries in having a 43-inch TLC Series 5 TV. Joke.
Oh,
It's a nice TV for around $300.
heck yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. I mean, these high-end displays, they're not cheap. I was able to justify getting another one because I do this work, and my wife was kind of like, she gave me the eye and then said, okay. So I went for it. But under normal circumstances, that might not have been the case. I killed Blake? Oh no. Again. Poor Blake.
I had never seen those images before, like the character
Yeah,
images.
they did a lot of this nice UI work for this version of the game specifically. So I'm curious, like people like watching in the chat here, what do you guys think of this version of the game? Has anybody actually played Unreal Tournament on PlayStation 2? And can you remind me, can you use mouse and keyboard? Because I don't remember. So let's see here. Oh, there's Blake. And I have killed him. So, poor Blake. I know. I'm just he doesn't stand a chance. Even
Someone someone said just came back from the toilet and Audi is looking a lot more feminine.
yes, yeah, he'll be back. It said we have a most excellent guest on here. So yeah. Oh. So yeah, playing Unreal Tournament against one bot is a really weird thing somehow.
Yeah, it is.
It's just like it's this empty map running around. Oh, there's poor Blake. I knew him well.
Which games did they used to have like did they have like they capture the flags and whatnot back
Oh
then?
yeah, everything's in here. It's
Oh,
just
yeah.
this is the single player campaign as they call it, which is just a bunch of series. It's a series of challenges where you face off against the bots. But they start it simple. It's just a one-on-one. There we go. Can I? Oh, there. Of course. Let's see here. I hate to see. This is one of my pet peeves with the PS2, with this game specifically, is the way it changes screen modes between loading screens and the gameplay and the menu. It's constant. Yeah, playing against bots made you confident, but as soon as you went online, whew. Oh, so Ravi Kiran has, please ignore the fanboys. I try. I do try. They do get pretty annoying sometimes, that's for sure. So
Someone else also said earlier they love the PC to PS2 ports, but they get awkward.
They do. Yeah. See, this. I have to admit, one of my secret favorite things is like PC to console ports from back in the day, like the '90s and the early 2000s, because they were so different. That the hardware was so different. So it was never like today. It's like it's the same game with some modifications. But back then, it was, they had to do a lot to get this to work, and it wasn't always pretty, to say the least.
Yeah. It's so weird for me because it looks so different. Like all the loading screens and...
Oh yeah, I know, they changed the whole presentation.
Yeah.
It's different for sure. It's not bad though. This port is okay, and I bet with a mouse and keyboard it's not the worst thing. If it isn't, oh, that thing, I forgot about that. There's the pulse gun and the flak cannon.
Which gun was your favorite?
Well, I think I was a flak cannon fan a lot.
Yeah.
It's a pretty good one.
Took me a
Oh,
while.
it's so hard to aim on this freaking thing though. The aim acceleration is terrible.
Yeah, it took me a while to love the flak cannon, but once I learned how to use it, I just couldn't go back.
Uh-oh. Out of flak cannon. Yeah, flak cannon is great fun.
My brother was like crazy with the ASMD, but I could never be as good as him.
Oh, yeah. You could like launch out the orb and then shoot it.
Yeah.
I love doing that. Oh, who's there? Oh, they're up there. Brock. Oh, they're just like trash talking every time, aren't they? That's the best part.
Yes, it is.
Oh man, that was a thing back then in these games. Was like they would always throw in this like sort of trash talk into. It was common in this and Tribes and various others. You be dead.
Yes. You could even download some. I remember once, because my older brother, he found all these mods, there were some that had a Cartman's voice. So all the retorts
Oh
when he
no.
would die.
Jeez. Yeah, that's certainly of the era.
Or oh, what's the name again of this? I forget. It's another shooter, but I forget the name. But the the retorts were like very like iconic of the
Yeah.
game, but I forget what it's called.
Dominating. There, she's down. Got the flat cannon again. Oh man. Start thinking about the next game after this. Because this is so. I guess, you know, PlayStation 2, it had 26 games. It was a wide mix. At the time, it got a lot of flack, canon, for not having a great launch lineup. But I actually think, in retrospect, it's pretty good. This is not one of the best. I mean, this is a good game, but this version, it's fine. But this is really a PC game, obviously. But there's a lot of good stuff we're going to look at that I think has actually held up remarkably well, which is not often the case with launch games. Can I do?
What other games do you have in mind for today?
So some other games. So yeah, let's throw this down. Some of the other games we're gonna play today because it's a launch spectacular. We got Fantavision. We've got SSX. We've got Orphan, Scion of Sorcery, Armored Core 2, Eternal Ring, Evergrace, Gun Griffin Blaze, Tekken Tag Tournament, Gradius 3 and 4 because it was a launch game in some regions, DOA 2 Hardcore, Street Fighter EX3, Smuggler's Run, Dynasty Warriors 2, and maybe Time Splitters if it runs. So we're going to get a lot of that in there.
Wow.
So I say we switch to the next game. What do you say?
Sure.
We'll put Unreal Tournament aside, and we're going to play some... We'll get to SSX, don't worry. But first, we're going to do a little bit of Fantavision. So we just got to... Because Fantavision was one of those things that was just so of the era. It was all about how can we do particles. And yeah.
Oh wow.
What's
Oh, someone actually mentioned it. They said they like Duke Nukem Forever. That was actually the one that had the the voices.
Oh,
on
yeah.
Mod for UT with the voices.
With Duke Nukem voices, that's right.
Oh
Oh my gosh. And yeah, Tekken Tag we would definitely get to. Man, there's a lot of good stuff on here. I would like to play anyway. So first of all, the introduction to this is just absurd. I love it. And I bet that this was related to Flipnik Ultimate Pinball. Here we go. This is just, I love this. It's so bizarre. And it was so, like, this was such a Sony thing of the era. These types of very, I mean, it's just a weird thing all around, but I love it. Yes, I know about Castlevania Resurrection, of course. I would love to see a beta. I will have to keep an eye on that. Is that intro not crazy?
yes, it is. What kind of game is this?
Oh, it's a fireworks game. So here we go. I don't actually really remember how to play this, to be honest. It's been a long time.
Welcome to Fantavision.
This is awesome to see. So yeah, it's literally like a sort of, it's a pseudo puzzle game kind of thing where you're basically making chains of fireworks,
3 chain.
which
That sounds
is
cool.
so. And the idea was really that it would show off PlayStation 2's particle system, and that's exactly what it did.
Oh, okay. It's almost like some sort of demo.
There we go.
6 chain.
So it's chaining colors. Oh, I heard the yes. Was that a super chat?
Have you played Bully on PS2? If so, what's your opinion?
Yes, Bully's pretty cool. It was a really fun take on the Rockstar style game. I really enjoyed what they did with that.
Good.
It's been a long time since I played Bully. Oh no, that thing is... It limits the shapes that you can do. So have you played this before, Mimi?
No, I've never played this.
A lot of people aren't that... I mean, it's kind of like if you were there, you know about Fantavision, but anybody that wasn't in this little bubble is just going to be like, wait, what is this? But it was like 60 frames per second particle action, you know?
Yeah,
Looks great. Oh yeah. So we got this going on.
11 chain. Good.
Any other interesting questions in the chat there while I play?
What's your opinion on Ratchet and Clank on PS2?
Oh, I love those games. Nice action. Have you played those?
9 chain.
No.
It's like an action platformer where it's basically a platform game with guns. And I liked them because they had nice big worlds, 60 frames per second. Pretty cool characters at the time. Kind of an iconic thing. And you know, they're still around. They're still making Ratchet games, which is great.
That's cool. Where's Audi? Audi will be back.
He will be back soon.
Star mod.
So
I think I saw another one. Let's see.
Was I sad when the Dreamcast failed? I was very sad, actually. I loved the Dreamcast so much at the time. In the end, I got to love the PlayStation 2 as well. But yeah, it was a dark day.
Do you remember? Oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
Do you remember Ferrari F355 Challenge?
Of course, from AM2. Nice Sega game. It's also on PlayStation 2. I have that version. It's really weird. It's published by Acclaim. Why do I know all this stuff?
Yeah, why do you know
I
so
don't even
much?
know. That's the weird thing. It's like, just ask me weird questions about stuff like this, and it's all in my head for some reason.
I feel like I know so little compared to you and Audi. It's like, I just played some games, that's it.
Yeah,
2 daisy.
the encyclopedia like knowledge. It's fun.
3 chain.
How do you know when you can switch color between...
Certain colors link together, I think. To be honest, I'm still kind of just rotating this to find ones that I can lock onto. Just jumping chain, trying to keep it going.
Bonus points. 8
This was, I think, the game they used a lot in Japan to sell it at first.
3 chain.
They would show this game in shops, kind of like, you know, just 'cause it's kind of a colorful,
5 chain.
impressive looking thing.
Yeah.
But it's not bad.
2 daisy. 12 chain.
That's pretty cool.
And it's so Unreal Tournament broke the rule about 60 frames per second. But we're gonna count the games that we've played today, which ones were 60. So right now, 2 of the 3 games are 60 frames per second. So Unreal Tournament obviously was not.
Good.
No surprise.
Wow. Star. Bonus point.
I can't hear the sound right now, so what does it sound like?
I can't hear the game,
Congratulations.
actually.
Oh, that's
so-
right. Japan got Fantavision 2, yeah. Do you think we could see disc PS2 animation on PS5? I don't think so. I don't even think the PS5 has... It's like PS4. I don't think it can read CDs at all. So it wouldn't... I don't think that's ever going to happen.
Someone's asking me which PS2 game I played. I didn't have a PlayStation 2, and I didn't have any PlayStation actually, so I don't think I played much. I think I remember playing Guilty Gear on PS2 with some friends.
Oh yeah, Guilty Gear. That's right. Those are pretty fun, actually.
Yeah.
Those guys that made Guilty Gear were around for a long time.
4 chain.
Arc System Works. Oh yeah.
2 daisy.
Alright, so who in the chat actually owned Fantavision.
4 chain.
If you own Fantavision, give me a shout. I gotta know this.
4 chain.
All right, everybody, just say I owned Fantavision. If you owned Fantavision back in the day,
3 chain.
I must know,
2 daisy.
because this was like a crazy
8 chain.
kind of thing.
Stars. Bonus points. Bonus points. Star. 10 chain. 3 chain.
Gotta wait for the
2 daisy.
stream leg to catch up before I can see this.
Yeah, exactly.
4
This-
See
chain.
what they say. Someone said, I still own Fantavision.
Yes.
2 daisy.
Who said that?
10 chain.
Read all the names. Everybody that owned
Perfect.
Fantavision. Let's get a shout out.
Okay, Rob Hall,
4 chain.
Chungo,
Okay.
Bruno Champagne,
4
Matthew Howard. Someone said nobody owned it.
No, that's not true.
9 chain.
Fantavision
Devin
is
Martin.
awesome.
Okay, what about is there more?
2 daisy.
That's it.
11
No.
chain.
Oh, there.
Star.
I own Fantavision and own it again on PS4 by Strange Vision.
Ooh.
3 chain.
I still own it. Rolex.
Star.
All
I
right.
think I say it right.
9 chain.
So we've got some other Fantavision owners in here. That's
2
good.
chain.
Seb Bailey 5.
Star. 2 daisy.
Someone said I recently picked it up. Handyman Chandel.
All right.
6
Cogni-
chain.
Never too late to
Rebel.
join the party of Fantavision.
3 chain.
Night Saber 2K on PS4 and PS2 Classic.
2 daisy.
Oh, it's going a bit fast.
14
Dagger.
chain. Good.
Wait, the Bouncer was not a launch game for PlayStation 2. I just caught that out of the corner of my eye.
Yeah, I feel like people close to me were big on the Bouncer.
The Bouncer came out in like January. It was like December in Japan and like January in like, the US or something like that. Maybe it wouldn't have been Europe either. So
5
unless some other territory I'm not familiar with that it is a launch game.
bonus points. 2 daisy.
Oscar Gomez said it would be cool with haptic.
Bonus points.
Actually, yeah.
Waiting for next gen version.
Star mine.
Okay, somebody wants me to get to the From Software games. I think that's what we're gonna do next. All right, let's do that. So I am gonna start with Eternal Ring. You guys know Eternal Ring?
I don't.
This is a game by From Software, the makers of Dark Souls, Demon Souls, and the like. So it kind of has. This is basically like a spiritual follow-up to the Kingsfield games.
I only know Dark Souls by name.
This is very similar in many ways. I haven't played Demon Souls on PS5 yet. I'm waiting for that. Hopefully in the next day or two. Hopefully, crossing fingers. All right, so here we go. This is Audi will come back. By the way, he had to go run an errand, basically help out a family member. So unexpected side thing, but that's okay.
Oh, got a lot of
Oh, so we got a
messages.
couple of these. So who do we have?
Lynn says my TV can't do 4K 120 hertz, but it can do 140 pixels / 120 hertz. Is that going to be a problem with the PS5 since it doesn't have a
Oh man,
120?
that actually might be a problem. I don't know for sure how it's going to work out, but I do know that it'll either run in 1080p 120 for 120. Yeah, actually yes, it'll work. It'll display I think at 1080p 120 probably. Based on what I saw on my other TV, which was the C8. So, but it's hard to know what's going to happen from there. We'll see.
Okay, someone else asked, do you have Square's first PS2 game, Driving Emotion Type S?
Ah, Driving Emotion Type S. I do have that. It's behind me. If we get through more launch games, I can certainly pop that in. So I don't think that was a launch game for sure. But yeah, it's a weird game. It's very difficult to play, especially the Japanese version. You know, I mean, Squaresoft, obviously, big RPG maker at the time, but they made a lot of stuff back then. Oh,
It's a racing game?
Pinot M. No, man. You got Ridge Racer. You've got Tekken. Of course, Street Fighter EX3 is actually good. Obviously, you said SSX, but there was some good stuff for sure. So look how like bright and intense that screen is. All right. So this game, why is it doing this? It wants memory card space, but I have
That
none.
night, Kane Morgan
This
was
is not a
lost in the
great looking
dreams of his
game
childhood.
here.
He saw the charming of his home. He
The
saw
actual
himself
visuals in
standing
game are
alone
pretty
amid the
basic,
wreckage. His mother
but
and
it's
father
actually, this
were
is not
nowhere
a
to be
bad
found.
game. It's pretty much an
Kane
old
was
school
very young
Kingsfield
at the
title,
time, so young that he didn't really
but with
understand
its
that he
own
lived in
kind
a
of
country known as Sochi,
vibe, if you
and that
will.
the neighboring country, Aldine, had suddenly become a cruel,
Elden
aggressive
Ring.
invader.
Is that similar to
There
It's
it?
was
an
one
upcoming
other
game
thing.
from, but
They had
I always
all
want to say
left for the
from
island.
Software.
That was all he was
SF
able to remember.
SFEX3 is good. It's not great, but it's good.
Bulgaria was the largest country in the Western
It
Continent.
does have that great soundtrack.
The elders, who at the time were the acting rulers,
So
had abruptly dispatched a group of knights to a
let's see
place
here.
known as the Island of
let's jump into this.
Will you guys ever do a DF retro of PS2 emulation on the PS3?
That's a good question. I'm not actually sure what to say about that. It's not impossible. Ooh, super chat.
Uncle Shooter says, have you heard of Terracon on PS1? It's an underrated Europe-only and very impressive graphics. Released in
Yeah.
August 2000.
I have heard of it, but that's actually one I haven't played. That's a weird one. I really need to check that out, actually. So I haven't picked up too many 50 hertz games, to be honest, because I don't like 50 hertz. Most of the PAL games were. Oh yeah, that's right. You guys remember, everything, of course, back here was all about the memory card. Was it the 8 megabyte memory card, Magic Gate? This was, yeah, good stuff.
The textures are okay, but the rest is
Thanks
kind
for the
of...
lift.
I mean, yeah, even for the time, this is not
You'd be a lot
amazing.
better off doing it before
Uh,
next. You bet I will.
yeah. But it's a cool game.
I mean, at the time, I don't know how you felt, but I felt pretty satisfied with graphics like that.
I mean, at the time, this was kind of
Best of luck to you.
basic, I think,
Be
but
careful out there.
it's still fun. It's a cool title. But I think this one was really overlooked back at launch because at the time From Software wasn't really a big deal. So,
Is that still their name? From Software?
Yep.
It's a really weird name.
isn't it? Only in Japan would you see that as a name. Oh, I see Tsugunai Atonement mentioned, and it does look kind of like that. It's also a pretty bland looking game, but I do like this one, so. Alright, here we go. So I can strafe up and down. Oh yeah, it's not dual analog at all. Oh man, the animation. Oh yeah, see that's like a save point, but I can't save. So yes, here we go. We're rolling through this right now. From Software style. Let's do this. So again, very basic visuals, absolutely, even for the time, but at least it's 60 frames per second. So this makes 3 of 4 games we've tested that are 60. You can see why this one is though. But hey, this is the humble beginnings of From Software. So it's actually sort of a exploration dungeon game, and it's very much like in that it has a lot of similarities to what the Souls games would be like, I guess, but like a very basic early form, if you will.
Sort of reminds me of the early Elder Scrolls games.
Oh, like Arena and such. Or,
Yeah.
You're right, actually. So those are more dungeony. Just see that? That's like Morrowind right there. It's like a cliff racer. Just hanging out, looking at you.
Yes.
Stupid thing.
Oh, he's going back.
Okay, cool. You can get back into the fray. But it's been good having you on, helping out on the chat. So,
Yeah, sure. Hope I did a good enough job.
chat, did she do a good job? Hopefully. All right. Can't go in the water. So let's
So
go.
that-
Here we go. Audi's back in the throne.
Alrighty.
So you missed. We played some Unreal Tournament. We played some
Alright.
Fantavision, and now we're playing Eternal Ring.
So Unreal Tournament was a launch game?
It was.
Huh. I didn't ever play that.
That's why I picked it, because I didn't think you were into that.
Yes.
Evie
am
actually
not
has
into
played it.
shooters. Yes, she is very much into those games. But I am very much into the game you're playing now.
Yeah. This was a fun one. All right.
Yeah, you and I have been playing a lot of Kingsfield lately for some reason.
With the hype for Demon Souls for me, and I've always enjoyed From Software's games. I thought they're pretty cool, actually. There's like this weird sense of exploration you get from these things.
Yeah, I remember Eternal Ring was one of those games I picked up in my second wave, like a couple of weeks after.
I know what you mean. The second wave.
Right, yeah, after you had played a few weeks and maybe a month of Tekken and all these other games, I picked up this one kind of, oh, what is this? And I was really amazed by the sense of adventure in this game. I love proper adventure games, and this just felt like a real adventure. I mean, the graphics and the environments were unlike anything I had seen, at least.
Yeah, I mean it's pretty basic, and it's got that From Software style animation of the time. 'Cause
Yeah.
From Software is awesome with their animation now, but back then, like here, well, you see. I mean, it's fine, but it's it's pretty janky looking, to say the least.
Yeah, I mean, were you aware of From Software at this time? When you were
Yes.
playing Eternal Ring, you were already aware of them being...
I had a copy of Kingsfield 2 for PlayStation back in like '98, so which is the first one I played of theirs. So yeah, I was definitely aware of them. I also
I'm not
had,
someone's asking if I'm associated with the car brand. No, I'm not born from a car, nor am I manufactured by Germans, but I do share names with them.
here we go. We are out of that. We're into like a village area. Oh yeah, so we should do some talking here. Uh-oh, there's some... This is a little bit creepy. So, like rolling into this house, there's just a person sleeping there.
Just laying down,
Can't
having a good
interact with
time.
them. It's
I
so-
guess this is very realistic of how it would be if you just walk into people's houses.
Yes,
They
it's
would
true.
just be sitting there on the can or sleeping, and you just walk up
Yeah,
to them
pretty
like,
much.
"Do you know where I can find sailors?"
Yeah, it is kind of that way, isn't it? Oh look, we've got a guy here. Oh, you're from the mainland. We've been expecting you.
Let me take that.
Yeah. That's right. What a game.
But yeah, this was. I'm trying to remember what the other game I picked up at the same. Because I bought two games with this one, where the other one was kind of similar. I wonder if it was Shadow of Memories that I picked up at the same time. And not that they're similar in gameplay, but they were both kind of like this quiet and reserved atmosphere.
Yeah.
that took a long time to build up.
Please
And I
get
just
a
remember that
replacement from Wallace at the
for some reason I
warehouse.
gravitated toward this
He's in
game
charge
a
of
lot more.
supplies.
But over the years, I've been really in love with Shadow of Memories. I think that's a very underrated game. I don't think that was a launch game in
This is a
either
weapon
territory,
No.
though. I
replacement.
forget.
That came out in the spring. I remember buying
Yeah.
that right when it came out as well.
Had a different name in America, didn't it?
It was Shadow of Destiny.
Shadow Destiny, that's right. Shadow Destiny /
That
Shadow of
emblem.
Memories. I think that had a
I
PC
heard there
port
was
as
someone
well.
coming from the mainland.
That's right, it did.
I was
And a
expecting
PSP
more than
port.
just a young boy for being.
Really? A PSP port?
Yeah.
I have never heard of this. Is it different?
No.
Oh,
It's just a PSP version of it. Okay.
it's weird. Like, that many years later, they just re-released it.
So, you're the
Never heard
new
of
guy
this.
from the
Man,
mainland, right?
this guy already looks
Welcome
super
to
From
this
Software, doesn't he?
miserable island.
It's just like pure. Yeah, they have that style. Wait, I didn't even read what it said because I was too busy looking in awe.
So, you're the new guy.
So what was kind of the game, I mean, the launch games is one thing. What was the kind of game that you were looking forward to the most as you got your PS2? Was there like a game on the horizon that you were like, well, this is the
Yeah,
game?
so the first one I was really hyped for was Zone of the Enders.
Yes, I remember.
I thought that looked incredible at the time. Oh, wait, game audio is too loud. There we go. Bring that back down. Okay. Uh-oh, there's a dude just sitting on a rock. It's very
What is it?
From Software. What is it? I'm sleepy. Talk to me later. I love this. Yeah. Just dude's house over there.
This game features motion capture character animation using stoned minds. And I like the thought of a stoned mind.
Metal Gear Solid 2, of course, was the big one I was hyped for.
Mm.
But during that first year, I got stuff. Obviously, I got Onimusha, which was really, really good.
Yes.
You know, I was really looking forward to Klonoa 2 in the summer, and that did come out. There we go. We can talk to her. So, if you're new to this, again, the game in question, this is Eternal Ring by From Software. So,
Basically an offshoot of Kingsfield.
correct.
I think the game that I was most hyped for, out of any, other than the fighting games that did come out at launch, was Tenchu. Tenchu 3, technically. What was the subtitle of that? Wrath
Tenchu
of
3
Heaven?
was definitely not launch.
It was not launch. No,
was
that was
early.
just
on
like
your
I
list.
knew it was coming out, and I was so hyped for that. And I have to say that when I got Tenchu 3, it lived up to all my
I liked it,
expectations.
yeah. It was pretty good.
Yeah, I have replayed it later. I'm a huge fan of that series, and it isn't. I don't think it's the best game of the series, but
No.
man, at the time, it just felt like next gen. You know, that was
Okay.
just like, I can't believe this is a real game.
Well, I could keep going at this, but we should keep playing because there's so many games to cover. So this
Oh,
is
yeah.
Eternal Ring.
I'm glad I got back just in time to see it, though, because this is good memories. And again, great performance for a
That's
launch
another
game.
60 frames per second game. So it's currently 3 of 4 that we've played. Yeah, we've played 4 games, 3 or 60.
The 60 FPS bingo continues.
How about we switch to some SSX?
Let's do it.
So we've got Japanese and American version here, so you can see the cover art difference. It's kind of fun to see. I kind of prefer the Japanese cover art here. Actually, it's weird looking in the camera. Woo. You know, versus this. But I will put in the American version. That's the one everybody knows.
I wish I could figure out why
also
my
on a
camera
blue
is so
disc.
low quality.
It's all right. You just need more light. You look like you're in
the light is
sepia
what-
tone.
Yeah, it just looks like I'm in 1999 is what it looks like. Just in time for the PS2 launch. Yeah,
Yes,
but those two
you're-
covers.
You're using the Real Media Player.
Yes. iToy combined with the real media player.
Ooh. We have a super chat.
John, can you make a wild guess how many games had the jaggies? I mean, the percentage of PS2 games that run in field rendering.
It's probably something like 30%, maybe.
You think it's that?
It's pretty common.
But that low?
Maybe more, maybe 50% even. I don't know.
Let's
It's
go with
really
45.
hard. It's really hard to say.
Yeah.
That's a good question. SSX3 is even better than this one, I think. But I like. So SSX3 is my favorite SSX. Then this one, and then Tricky. I actually think this version is better than Tricky. They actually changed some things that I don't like about Tricky, and the visuals are worse in Tricky.
Really? What's the changes you don't like?
This one just has this like kind of dark atmosphere that I think is really cool. And again, there's this issues with they got rid of so many of the post-processing effects. They simplified the world. They changed the FOV on the camera.
Maybe. I mean, I just love Tricky to
Tricky's
death.
good.
I mean, I played Tricky so much, and yeah, that was my kind of Tony Hawk game. I know you were really into Tony Hawk, which I wasn't, but SSX had that same feeling for me. Have you guys ever watched the footage of the riot that happened in Virgin Megastore, France, when the PS2 launched? You guys... No, I have not seen that. I would love to see
We need to
a French riot for the PS2.
We got to dig that up, actually. I want to see
Yeah.
that. I can see that happening. The PS2 is crazy. I mean, so we should probably mention some launch stories. I mean, again, I went out early to a Best Buy and hung out with some friends in line around the building. And I actually missed out on getting my system the first day. It took me 2 more weeks to find one. And I did, but it took time. So it was a little bit frustrating. What about you?
Yeah, so my only kind of launch, because I got it for Christmas, because the PS2 launched around Christmas here for us in Europe, at least up in Norway. So, but what I can tell you was that I had front-loaded myself with DVDs. At the time, I had picked up a DVD of Transformers the movie, which I absolutely love. I picked up a Drunken Master DVD, and I had about 5 DVDs. What I didn't know at the time was the DVD region thing. And so when I got the PS2, I was like, well, I got these fighting games, play them, and I was going to watch Transformers the movie, primarily for the Vince DiCola soundtrack. And it didn't work. And I was like, oh no, I got the faulty DVD, put in the next one, didn't work. And I was like, man, did I get like a bad unit? And then over the next couple of days, I realized that, of course, Region 2.
Yep,
So-
exactly. I gotta get back into this. It's been a while.
Snowboarding was never my thing, but I did have this game, and I had another one, which I've forgotten the name of, but it was like a simulation. It was like
The Konami
ESPN
one?
Extreme.
Yeah, that's from
No,
Konami.
what's that, Konami?
It was.
Yeah, I just remember it was like Extreme Snowboarding ESPN, and it was very realistic, and you can have you could edit your replays, which kind of was my first little editing
Oh, that's cool.
experience.
Oh no! I tried to go for the stupid rail and I got caught in the rail.
Met the
Whoops.
Ijina Mari Macros World Convention 2016. Cool. I like Macros. A lot of people have been asking us to play Macros games.
We need
I'm not sure why.
VFX2 for PlayStation.
Oh, I love that. I love that one. But yeah,
So-
I think Scramble Valkyrie is the one people have been asking for. One day we'll play it.
So, fun fact about this game, in case people weren't aware, is the main tech guy behind the SSX games is Mike Rayner, who's the tech director at the Coalition, who does the Gears games now. So he worked on SSX 1, 2, and 3. And also, SSX started life on the Sega Dreamcast. It was one of 2 games that EA was working on, sort of as leverage to get better rates from Sony. But it was very different, apparently. They didn't use... So this uses Bezier curves to determine the slopes in this game. That's how they do these really smooth slope effects. Dreamcast version was not using that, so the game apparently looked very different than it does here. I'd love to see what that was. I've only heard about it, but yeah. So this was originally Dreamcast.
So it was. Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, I'm just gonna completely cut you off for once. There was 2 things. One person here just says X Squad. Man, so X Squad. Do you remember that game?
I do from EA.
Yes, from EA. The thing about that was the composer of that game is the same composer that did the music for Assault Vulcan, which is my
Whoa,
absolute favorite
really?
game. So I picked up that game just for that specific reason. X Squad, I think it was a fun game, but it wasn't the best. And unfortunately, the music isn't that interesting. I guess he was kind of held back by just EA expectations. But
No
that's a
doubt.
fun fact for that. People don't really. Cybernator in the US, Assault Vulcan. Someone else was asking if I like Robotech or Macros. Obviously, I like Macros because Harmony
right.
Gold sucks.
Oh yeah, we can also play Midnight Club.
Yes, I do love those games. I love every racer that takes place at night.
That's good. Yeah. Yeah. So the one issue with SSX1 is that because of the short dev cycle and like basically finishing it up, the frame rate is not what it could be. Now, if you just play it in like the points mode, where it's just you on the track, it's a smooth 60. But when you have other racers, especially on this track, frame rate kind of is unstable. So I'll give this like a 50% 60 FPS rating. It wanted to be 60, but it couldn't quite pull it off. I mean, it's better than like Trick Style. That
Yep.
was the Dreamcast launch, which was like usually under 30 frames per second most of the time. That was really bad.
I think in Europe, another launch game we had, or at least around launch, was that sequel, Airborder, was it? The one
Oh,
that had like
yeah,
the
Airblade.
floating board. Airblade, sorry, Airblade. I remember my little brother picked that up because someone mentioned in the chat that they're shocked to find a Norwegian that did not like snowboarding. I do not like ski sports whatsoever, but my little brother is very much hooked on it. And, so he was the one picking up all these SSX games and ESPN
Oh,
Extreme and all that.
Almost had to
Language.
delete that.
Mhm.
I
The
launched
bouncer, the bouncer was the best PS2 launch game. Someone says.
It's not a launch game though. Why do people keep
Why,
saying
man,
that?
do I love the bouncer?
I was a little bit confused by this. Was the bouncer like a launch game in some territory?
It could be.
I think it was just because it was so early that it feels like a launch game, but it was actually like 2 or 3 months after. It was like January in North America, December in Japan. It was kind of an interesting thing, though. It's a beautiful game. Like it doesn't hold up that
Love it.
well, but it looks awesome.
I wish they continued because I mean the brawler genre needed to continue, but it kind of ends after the
Get out.
bouncer.
Yeah, exactly.
So today we're getting Streets of Rage 4 and all these wonderful games. So finally, they're back.
Trick boost. Yeah, the bouncer. The one problem with the bouncer's pacing is they constantly bring up the save screen after literally everything you do
Every
in the game. It's like, do
chapter.
you want to save? And it's the worst. I don't understand why they did that.
Yes, I do remember that.
That's a real problem with that.
It's so much fun though to power up your characters and do New Game Plus, and man,
Oh yeah, I agree.
I used to play 4-player against each other, and it had that ragdoll effect, so people would like fall down the stairs and stuff. All
so
twisted
green.
and fun. Just a great game.
Absolutely.
That original trailer, though, do you remember that with all the interactive
Here,
elements?
I'm
and
gonna go and do
furniture
a different track. Yes, I do.
Yeah, I just remember that it wasn't the game I think people expected, but for me,
That's
it was exactly what I needed. So.
Yeah.
The
So one thing that's Armored Core 2 was another launch game that was also by From Software. So they had 3 games at launch, which is kind
Great
of
feat.
crazy. I think they really brought the heat. We'll do Audi. Let's just go with that. Free ride on Elysium Alps.
Yeah, that's a good brawler too. Batman Vengeance was a great game that also came out fairly early on the PlayStation, too.
That's right.
And I, of course, like many others, a huge fan of the Batman animated series, so I really loved Batman Vengeance.
Yeah, the thing about somebody asked about Last Guardian. It seems like Last Guardian does run at 60 frames per second off the disc. So NX Gamer actually figured that out because the disc version, kind of like Assassin's Creed Unity, if you just play it without patching it, doesn't have a frame rate cap. So
Nope.
I'd never actually tested that because the first patch adds HDR, and so off the disc you don't get HDR. So I never thought about that. So that's something I'm gonna try right after this. I'm very curious to mess with it.
Someone's asking how we met. We're not going to go into that story because it's too long. But we met at a Mexican restaurant.
What's that?
We met at a Mexican restaurant. That's a short story.
Oh yeah. But that was after discussing online. It's not like you just walked into the Mexican restaurant and said, "Hey, dude."
What, I eat some tacos? That's where it happened. No. We had become aware of each other due to similar type of content in our past, and just
Exactly.
the story will come out soon. I promise. In our autobiography.
It was literally just that. It's like, oh, you're going to Gamescom too? Let's hang out. It's pretty much that simple. Yeah. No, it's been a lot of fun.
Oh man, 2 pretty ball blazing years of just lots of fun, lots of CDI, and life-changing moments. So
Absolutely. Yeah, lots of
I'm not
CDI.
joking when I say that your show and your friendship definitely saved my life. But we'll get
Wow.
more into that
Yeah.
later.
Yeah, it's quite something indeed. But yeah,
Of course, also VV, very much part of that savior.
absolutely.
The emotion engine, yes. Do you remember the emotion engine?
It gives me emotion, for sure. They love to name stuff that way. No, I actually miss like this. I understand why it's this way now, but like modern consoles, it's pretty much just PC class hardware.
Exactly, yes.
Because at the time, doing a general purpose box, the PC, was expensive. So these consoles would leave instructions and features. Like basically, the hardware was very specifically designed for operations that games would benefit from. So they would make these really bespoke boxes that had some unique capabilities. We don't get that anymore, and I kind of miss it. Like it's cool what we have now, but it's not the same.
You want more custom hardware.
But it just doesn't make sense anymore with the way
It
things
does.
have gone.
I do miss the fact that each console is very different in game. Like, always talk about the 3DO and the Jaguar and all these kind of. But
Yeah.
those are different consoles with very different philosophies that give you very different types of graphics, sound, experiences. And I mean, that still rings true for some things today. But I'm certainly not very much into these modern consoles.
Oh yeah,
And I'll leave that to you, John. You do a good
Oh, yeah.
job at them.
that's what we do.
I'm still stuck on the CDI, as everyone in the chat knows.
Oh wow,
It's still next gen to me, damn it.
it's the most expensive console you could have bought at the time.
Yeah, it probably was, depending on which model.
Yeah. Any super chats?
No, there hasn't been any super chats lately.
I
Keep
just
on
see
coming
a-
in, people.
I just see a blue one pop up.
Did you? Let's see. Oh, you did. I didn't catch that. Can you explain
Whoa.
your capture setup? Looks like 480p.
Ah, okay. Well, I'm actually just using because it worked the best. I'm using a retro tank from Mike Chi. So I tried to use the Frame Meister because it's best with PlayStation 2 games, but it was not playing well with my capture setup, and I'm not sure why. So I switched back to the retro tank. So this is actually a Bob D interlace, which is why you get kind of that jitter. But yeah, it works pretty well, I think. It's getting the job done.
Man, and Mike G's tech is just amazing.
Oh my god, I'm doing so bad at this right now. Yeah, Mike Chi does awesome work. If you haven't, the retro tank stuff is a very like affordable way to get into this kind of like, you know, playing old consoles on a modern display. And he has some new stuff in the works as well, which looks pretty exciting. So definitely keep an eye on what he's doing. Woohoo! Uh-oh. There we go. One thing, you know, so we have SSX here. One of the biggest technical innovations that this offered, I think, at the time, was the size of these tracks. How long they were. Like, beyond
yeah.
the visual quality, like, you would go down this mountain for a ridiculous amount of time, and it was the first time we'd seen a game that could pull this off, and I guess it's all the extra memory and pulling data from the disc and the system had the capability to actually pull this off, which really hadn't been done before.
Yeah, I mean, the closest I remember to this, and it's not even close, was 1080 on N64. I remember when I played that, I felt very much like, wow, this is, real, very realistic. But, I mean, as you
Absolutely.
said, it's so dynamic and so beautiful. And
Missed the point.
let's see,
Uh-oh.
have you played Robot Alchemic Drive on PS2? It's my favorite mech game. Such a cool
Oh.
control method, where you play the person controlling the mech. Yeah, that's a pretty cool game.
Rad is awesome. It's pretty rad, isn't it?
Yeah, it is extremely rad.
Oh my god, I'm doing so bad here. This is not like Tony Hawk here.
I love mech games in general, and I mean Steel Battalion, Rad, these kind of like things that put you in control of the mech is always very fun.
This is going horribly, horribly wrong right now. Stupid half. Yeah, because the way the half pipe works, it's like if you don't have the momentum, you can't get up the half pipe.
Not at all.
I completely botched that. That was horrible.
Oh,
Oh,
Game
and-
Muso, it's here. I absolutely love the Game
Yes,
Muso.
Game
Great
Muso.
Man, we have to have him on and perform Road Avenger one day when we
I
play.
agree. We need to get him on here.
So I got a CD a while ago, and it's in my car. It's the only CD I have in my car because it doesn't leave it.
Well, I can't argue. It's pretty good.
It is people. Oh, you're terrible at this. No, you're not terrible. You're just out of practice.
No, I did horrible right there. That was pathetic. That was maximum ownage. Yeah, messing up that half pipe. Oof, I remember that back in the day. Now, when I first would encounter that, you get used to it. But
So, John, someone's calling you out. This is Sega 32X Chill. Man,
that's true.
well, you are.
I'm one of the few, actually. All right.
I mean, you made a pretty good video to convert people to understand why. So.
Yeah. All right, so I'm terrible at Tekken. I am very bad at Tekken.
Yeah, so we're obviously not in the same place, or else I would be playing Tekken. But due to
I'm gonna put it in though because it is a showpiece title.
I think if you're a newcomer,
Tag.
play as Horang. Horang should be, because then you can just basically push the X button and things will happen.
I like pushing the X button to make things happen. I mean, I was really into Soul Calibur. Like, I really enjoyed this as well. But this is a genuinely great fighting game. I never really got good at the sort of like juggling style of this.
Well, when talking Tekken, I think PS2 was the greatest era for Tekken because you had Tekken Tag, which was incredible when it came out, and much better in the arcade version, should be mentioned. And then Tekken 4, which is actually my favorite Tekken, and I know lots of people think that's a crazy thing to say, but I absolutely love the design of Tekken 4. I love the stages.
It's got such a cool atmosphere.
It's great atmosphere. Those cutscenes, the music, the narration, just the art design in general. I love Tekken 4, and I'm kind of, I don't know, I wish they continued with that. They did kind of create this hybrid of classic and 4, going forward with 5 and whatnot.
That's right.
But I really love those environments.
Man, you look at
I
this.
don't play competitive.
I'm just looking at the CGI, and one thing that just reminded me is how when they made the move to PS2, suddenly video quality got dramatically better. They ran at higher frame rates, really sharp.
Someone's asking us, do you remember the Matsushita M2? Of course.
Oh my god,
DF
yeah.
Vaporware. Actually, when we talk about Vaporware, I found a DVD recently, and I told John about this. A Swedish DVD from an E3 where people actually sit down and play the Phantom. So maybe we'll do something with Vaporware eventually, or John especially.
Yeah. Also, the M2 specifically, somebody uncovered, like, they had some playable builds of something recently, like D2. There's stuff out there, and it was used in Konami arcade hardware a little bit. So there's a few games out there that actually use it. First of all, let's just check out the visuals here.
So good.
Okay, I'm gonna let this first play, and oh yeah, they're just showing this. So like, some of the things going on here. First of all, check out, like, they're just using, like, there's not real-time reflections under there, but having these puddles, the way they did that was really cool at the time. The way the characters are lit was excellent. You actually, this was one of the first, this might have been the first 3D fighting game that I remember that had, like, polygonal crowds in the background that were sort of, like, cheering you on in that way.
There's probably other games before it, but this is also, for me, kind of the first time I remember.
Right. And they used the Tekken Tag uses pretty high polygon characters. They actually reduced the quality on Tekken 4 because they've moved to those more open environments.
Yeah.
More like Virtua Fighter 3 in a way. But this is a really high polygon count. Also, let's see if they do the little the attract demo after this, because you really get to see just how beautiful this game looks. Here we go. Oh, we just played SSX, dude. Oh, you missed it.
Yeah, well, this will be on demand, so people can go back.
Yeah.
And...
Okay, so look at this. This part right here with the lightning and it has this really detailed stone floor. Like just the color, like the quality of the polygon models, the animation. Like this looked incredible back in 2000. I mean, this was really, really impressive to behold. And I still think it looks good. Like this holds up well. Aesthetically, it's beautiful.
If you look at the arcade version of this game, it doesn't even look as good as...
Well, no, it's true. Because that was like older hardware. It was like PlayStation 1 derived hardware. So they basically did the same thing with this as they did with Soul Calibur on Dreamcast. Because Soul Calibur and Tekken Tag use the same kind of hardware in the arcades. Let me do a little bit of...
So there's been a few Super Chat things. I'll catch up. So someone's saying, it would be awesome to see a DF retro dive on the Tekken series. Yes, we've discussed it. I'm rocking the early 2000 webcam. Yes.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Today, the webcam is barely holding on to the future. And someone else, Dark Cloud, saying Time Travel on PS2 was great. Yeah.
Okay, so this is just practice mode for now. Just because I want to appreciate like what's going on in here. Like, this isn't the stage with it, but you see all the little tufts of grass, the modeled floor. You actually have like broken tiles that are not just like a flat texture. It's all 3D. You get the crowd in the background there. Like, this was the game that really showcased what the PS2 could offer, and it was like quite something.
Oh yeah, this was a showpiece game. I mean, it looked amazing. So yeah, I was so into this when it came out. Solid Crusader saying, "Hi John, have you tried using Adjust HDR setting on PS5, and does it really outstand the HDR quality of PS4 backward compatible and PS5 games on a TV?"
It does work pretty well, I'd say. It's not bad actually. Obviously, it's not true HDR for non-HDR games, but it looks brighter, and I'm curious to see what other people think of this, to be honest, because I'm okay with this kind of tone map stuff. I think it's kind of fun, but not everybody's into that.
So Pop Belly Punch is asking you, do you prefer OG or Slim PS2, and what model number?
I am all about... I can't remember the model number that I like the best, but I like the fat PS2 for sure.
And me too. And with the fat PS2, you can also do some fun modifications. David S. asking, is VRR coming to PS5? Love your work.
Well, it's on the official specs list, I think, so I would assume. It's just, I don't know what's up with it. It's currently unknown. And thank you, David S.
I'll try to, like, if you have simple PS5 questions, I'll ask them, but this is still a retro stream, so...
It's okay.
Yeah, it's okay.
It's PlayStation launch stream, so, you know, people are excited. That's why I chose to do... Can't stream the new consoles yet, I don't think. I think that's still, like, an embargo or something.
No. Yeah,
I have to check to be sure. But, you know, it's like just celebrating, like, launch stuff.
yeah, I'm a developer, and I believe you're right. It's based on something. Some other super chat here. PS5 will be some kid of today's nostalgia console some decades from now. Does Astro Bot have the scope to become a big PS icon over the next 7 years?
I hope so. I love Astrobot. His
Yeah.
VR game was one of the best games on PS4. I really think so.
I just can't play it. I get motion sick.
Oh, I know, but the PS5 one is not VR and it's quite awesome.
Mm.
Oh, okay. Here we go. This part, they simulate specular highlights on the floor with the way the sun pours in on that wooden floor. This looked incredible at the time, and it was just unlike anything that. Oh man, you see what I'm talking about? Yeah, like it's like the dojo stage and the sun kind of filtering through, and it's got the sun glistening off the floor. See if I can turn the camera around. Just stop. So we can see, yeah, you can see like the sort of like the pseudo reflections.
Yeah, just also the smoothness of the animation. I mean, Tekken 3 was no slog either, but when we came to this game, it just looked insane. I remember.
Oh,
You see here.
the lighting here as well is just.
Nicholas Stanley asking Super Chat, did you play Summoner on PS2? Early RPG.
Oh yeah, I do remember that. I did play some of it, but that was one I never owned Summoner, and I don't have a copy here. I rented it because it was I was curious about it, but I found it kind of. I was still in a JRPG mode at the time, so not. I mean, I did enjoy Baldur's Gate on the PC, I admit, but something about playing Summoner on PS2, it felt a little bit weird. It's kind of clunky.
Yeah, I think clunky is pretty
Dude, this
good
is the
word.
stage. When I first saw screenshots of this stage with the grass, oh my god. It was really just like next level stuff here. I mean, this was one of the first games I ever remember that actually had grass. Like the idea of like actual grass blades was just like unheard of at the time. And PS2 delivered it.
Also, the music in this game was incredible. Like, Ogre stage on this game is one of the finest Tekken
I agree.
track of all time. So, everything about this game, man, just so good. So good.
Yeah, it's a beautiful game. Still, it's amazing how good this still looks. It really is just stunning.
Did you ever play the second game that also came out on Wii U?
What?
Tekken Tag 2.
Oh yeah, it did come out on Wii U. Yeah, I played that on PS3, but yeah,
Also very good.
it's solid. Yeah, I agree. Man,
Any plans to play Time Splitters on this stream?
you can try it, but I was having issues.
Does anyone remember Jackie Chan Stuntmaster? Yes,
You're
I
asking the
wrote
Jackie Chan
a
expert here, aren't you?
huge- many years ago, I wrote a huge article about every Jackie Chan game ever made, and I actually had contact with Jackie's management at the time, Willie Chan, and a man named Bay Logan, who I haven't spoken to since. But yeah, I had a lot of fun doing that article, and they actually sent it to Jackie. So
That's cool.
never got any word from him directly, but there was one story about that that I'll hopefully get to share one day, because there was some panic over some of the details that I uncovered.
And for somebody that was
Yes, it
asking
was-
about the backgrounds in this, are they 3D or just clever parallax? It's actually a mix of both.
Yes.
It's the polygonal backgrounds, but some of the parts are flat. But it's mostly actually there's like 3D polygons. You can see the depth in the back here. It's just the reason it looks so weird is because of the Tekken gameplay design at the time, where it has the infinite floor, so it's disconnected from the background, which is a little bit weird, I guess. But that's just the way the game was designed. And that was something that changed when they made the move to Tekken 4. And then after that, they kind of went back to normal arenas with 5.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, 5 has a kind of mixture. Yes, it has walls, but yeah.
Oh my gosh.
One thing that was also very cool with this game, I mean, we had it on Tekken 3 to a certain extent, but the costumes had a lot of variety in this game, and were like individually modeled. Whereas there were some of those in 3, but generally most of the costumes were kind of painted on. But in this game, every costume is so vividly different and has the realistic physics and all these things that just look incredible.
I agree. I wanted to go back. Actually, just for fun, I'm gonna switch to DOA 2 Hardcore.
Go for it.
Let's do that. So, this is just so you know, so people can enjoy. This is the disc for DOA 2 Hardcore. You know,
Just cuts.
That's what they're going for. I should note this is the Japanese version of the game, so
DOA Hardcore was an interesting situation because that was such a killer app for the Dreamcast. I mean, Dead or Alive 2. And then here's the PS2 version.
here we go. Yeah, this is this is pretty good. DOA 2, so this got a lot of like flack because of the jaggies, because of the display mode they chose to use here, and I get that, but I still think this version has some cool advantages. All the cutscenes are 60 FPS, and they added some neat visual effects that didn't exist on Dreamcast. So I'd like to do a full video on this game someday, just because it's very interesting. Oh yeah, here we go. We get the introduction. Should let this play. There it goes. Oh no, it's just showing gameplay first. So, yeah, this is another one that actually still looks freaking great. And models are hugely detailed. Oh, the backgrounds are cool. It's got a neat look to it.
I mentioned before, I think on stream, that my dad was never much of a gamer, didn't care about games, but this was one of the games where he suddenly sat down and watched. I'm not sure why. It must have been something about Dead or Alive that he enjoyed looking at.
Alright, well here's a fun story for everybody. So my sister and I back in the day used to play a lot of fighting games together. We played this, and I think she lost her temper once so hard playing this game, and she literally grabbed a belt from my bed and whipped me with it, and I've never let her forget that.
Oh no! Why? So we have a super chat. On My Life in Gaming's PS2 episode, John, you mentioned you can even super sample from higher resolution games
Yes.
such as Baldur's Gate, Dark Blinds. Can you explain this in more detail? 'Cause
So the way they kind of did it, as far as I remember, and I need to double check on this, is that it was literally like they were kind of doing, so it used field rendering, but they were somehow also doing, like, combining the horizontal resolution together to get an effective, like, I think it was like 1280 maybe, or it was like 2640 frames or something with, I don't remember exact details, but it was basically combining the two together every other frame to give the illusion of a higher res, and it really did give it this super sampled anti-aliasing look to it. And so this is just part of what it was. PS2 was just crazy with the things you could do. Oh, okay, yeah. This is the lewd version of DOA 2.
yes, some of these intro scenes were, I think, changed a little bit in terms of.
I forgot the Western release got some changes.
Let's pretend we didn't see that.
So
So there was another super chat question, very quick one. Any plans for DF merch? Would buy DF Retro T.
dude, it exists.
Yeah, doesn't that exist already?
I should actually find that right now. Because I remember. Yeah, here we go. So, I will post it right now in the chat if I can.
So someone else asking us in super chat, do you guys remember the scenes and nearly riots in stores in Cologne? Man, was there that many riots for the PS2 in France?
There you go.
Oh, you got it. Yes. So there is a link.
There it is.
I guess-
Okay. So I think we're behind on the supers.
No, I've been
what-
catching up.
Oh, is
No.
the? I don't remember that either. Good lord.
No, tons of riots, I guess. No, I was not part of any riot for the PS2. I just got it for Christmas, and it seems like John just had to look for it himself. So
Exactly.
had we missed out on the action, I would have gotten my axe and my armor and jumped into the crowd. For the PS2, I would do anything.
Kasumi. All right.
Another super chat. The moment I saw the MGS2 E3 trailer, wow, just wow.
I won't have any mercy, even for a
Also,
woman.
this is one area where that was enhanced in PS2. They have these sort of like pseudo reflections on the floor. Come on, guys.
So, Solid Crusader had a question earlier that I did miss, sorry. I'm sorry, but it's slightly off topic. Could you recommend a high, low, or off contrast enhancer for 4K HDR gaming on TV such as Samsung Q8OR?
For contrast enhancement, my rule of law is always off. I don't like any of those artificial enhancements, to be honest. So, I would recommend that. Oh, what's going on here? Okay.
How dare you, swindler!
So, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Dead or Alive I played so much. I mean, it
So-
became one of my favorite fighting games at the time.
Was that the super chat? Because so he's saying that we missed one. Is that the one from earlier?
I caught up on. I scrolled up
man.
and found it. So it was about the
Sorry
enhancer.
about that, dude.
Yeah,
But yeah,
something.
so definitely, I would recommend off for any dynamic circuitry like that. Just because it tends to like. I mean, if you like the way it looks, it's okay to use it. But
This is not
Yeah,
the end of my battle.
it's. I just caught somebody's asking why did we only post PlayStation content this week? Because it takes a long time to make videos, dudes, and we didn't have a PS5 until like very recently. We've been posting months of Xbox stuff, almost, and getting a lot of shit for it. So it's like we got the shiny new thing, of course, which I was excited about. So we're gonna cover it. It's really all it comes down to.
So I'm not part of the team, but I see the work that the team puts in for all these videos. Just every single little video takes much longer than you think. So I really have to commend you for all the work, all of you.
Thanks.
I hope that everyone watching this chat, I think most people are aware, but just if you're wondering why haven't they done this, why isn't this out yet, it's just the time you
Manpower.
think it takes double as long. Just always put that in your mind. So be nice.
It really is a manpower thing. We just don't have enough. I mean, there's only 4 of us making videos.
And I mean, when I do it, I just make stuff about the CDI, so it doesn't help you at all.
That's true. So that's a bummer.
I have a question for you though, John.
Yeah.
So, Dead or Alive, there's 2 designs. There's the dull look, the
Yeah.
look that you have in this, 3 and 4, 5 and 6 goes into the realistic.
Yeah.
Which do you prefer?
Oh man, I have more nostalgia for the doll look, to be honest. But at the same time, I can totally. I do think the newer games still kind of have that look, but just like a more realistic take on it. So
Yeah.
I kind of enjoy them all. And by the
I-
way,
I do
this
prefer
stage
dull.
here, notice they have this like simulate this like weird volumetric lighting effect. That'd be terrible.
You see the difference between you and me?
Oh man, Twisted Metal Black, that was so good.
Dead or Alive is basically an approachable Retro Fighter. So
It was, yeah.
I absolutely loved it. Just so much fun. All the characters, so much fun.
Good old John Lee. I always
Turn
use.
volume up, down a few decibels. Is the game volume too?
Okay, I never really know how loud it is. I can't hear it myself.
Someone's asking me if I will be on this historic nerd stream next week about the CDI. I'm not familiar with him, but if he's doing a stream about CDI, I'll check it out.
Yeah, you can't not check it out.
No, of course I'll be there and check it, watch it, and support. Give him.
Dude, Alexander, he says there's 0 Sega Nomad content. There has been Sega Nomad content in the past on this channel.
Absolutely, there has.
You will absolutely find it. That's what we're all about up in here.
I think the height for me for Dead or Alive though was Dead or Alive Ultimate on Xbox.
Oh, dude, yeah, that was excellent.
I
Also-
kind of fell off after that.
Yeah, I mean, I think every Dead or Alive game is pretty cool in its own way. They all have like a nice.
Even the DS game is kind of interesting with the story mode.
That's true. And I played a ton of DOA 5 on Vita, of all things.
Was that a good port?
Yeah, it's cool having DOA on a portable system at the time. It was really cool.
There was a movie made, Dead or Alive, which is not
no.
very good. It is
bad.
directed by Kor Yuen, who is a fantastic Hong Kong director, but that is not a fantastic movie. It
This
has
is
King
true.
Kazuga in it though, and he should be in more movies. But
So, I'm gonna. This did not work last time because there's something wrong with this disc. But I'm gonna try Time Splitters real quick, just to see what happens. But I think it's gonna give us. It's gonna give me problems. Yeah.
we could talk about Time Splitters if it doesn't work.
Oh boy.
Someone's asking if we have plans together to do a Simpsons game retrospective. That would be fun, but there's many games.
The famous error. Yeah, that one does not work. Let's see here. I have so many PS2s, but this one is modded, region free.
What's the name of that mod again?
It's the Matrix Infinity.
Oh, okay.
Let's see here. I know one that we could pop in just for fun. Midnight Club.
Let's do
Anyone?
Midnight Club. I love Midnight.
All right.
I love. Well, when we talk about mod chips, yes, Asterix retrospective will happen. When we talk about mod chips, let me tell you very quickly. When I lived in Brazil, for quite some time.
Well, first,
Yeah,
before you get into that story,
Yes.
let's look
Go
at
ahead.
some of these icons. Okay, so
Oh yeah, yes, let's
look
do
at
that.
the other one as well, because this is one of the fun things about the PS2 was like it would store all these little icons that were all like little animated characters, like objects, which I thought was cool. And
Gave it more personality. It's a small touch, but it makes the
also
console
like Ridge Racer 5, for instance, when you actually like finish all the events and stuff, it switches from the car icon to Ifukami, which is cool. And also, it has this nice depth of field effect. Like when you bring it up, the background goes out of focus, which was cool. But yeah, I got some PlayStation 1 saves in here. You couldn't actually load directly from a PS2 card for PS1 games. But you could store them on here to save things. Oh yeah, it's fun to see all this. What's on this other one here? I have did you ever have issues where some of the data would be like the corrupt data? You get the little
Yes.
blue box.
Yeah,
You can't do anything with it. It's like nope. Wait, that one actually it's the first time I've ever seen that. That one deleted.
There's a super
it's
chat
working.
saying I would kill for a DF Retro on Ocarina of Time, or as I should say, Ocarina.
Ocarina. That could be fun actually. That's a quite an interesting and important game for sure. So I may have to check that out sometime. Oh man, there's the Riz icon. All these different things. It's fun to see.
For love of the game, super chat says if you delete Soul Calibur 2 data, Softia falls to the ground and cries.
Oh, I forgot about that. Yeah, I think if you click on one of these and go to delete, okay, some of them do that.
There's other games that do that too, yes. But I do
Is this
remember
one?
this one.
Yeah, like okay, so on Klonoa he blows up to that. Yep, that's right. I don't think this one's. No, that one's not animated. So some of the animated ones do that. God Hand, no. Dang, so it's not that common. But yeah, some of them do have that little touch. So anyway, I'm gonna start this up. You can go ahead and you were gonna tell us a story about something.
Oh, Brazil. Yeah, when I
Yeah.
lived in Brazil, this was kind of the end of the PS2 era, but the amount of piracy that was associated with PS2 in Brazil was I had never experienced anything like this. And I used to go to a shopping center which had an official game store called the shopping center was Diablos. And
Okay.
we go to the game store to just check out, and the games they had in the windows and stuff, they would be priced around, I think, around $110 US. inconverted because the import tax in Brazil is, I think, still to this day pretty crazy.
Yeah, it
But
is.
if you just leaned over the counter and struggly said "piratas," they bring up these huge folders with printed out label arts that you can just point to all these different games you wanted, and you could buy basically any game you want on PS2 for $3. And
Oh,
everyone
man.
that I met had a modded PS2 there.
That's pretty
It,
funny.
it was just seen as silly to buy an official game down there, just because of the price.
That's pretty funny.
Unfortunately, as I told you many times, when I lived there, I saw all these Master System games and whatnot, like Legend of Illusion and all these games that I should have picked up when I lived there, but I didn't realize the scarcity.
Yeah,
at the time.
I know exactly.
Street Fighter on Master System, I could have picked that up for a pretty cheap penny. And I went to Tech Toys offices without realizing really what I was doing at the time. I was too young, and I didn't realize just Sega's connection in Brazil. But I did go to their offices. Tony Lee is saying, "Hi, PS5 question: Will the load times different? I guess be different by loading a PS4 game from an external HDD SSD versus built-in PS5 SSD?"
I have found that they're actually very similar. Which is to say, I don't feel like running from the internal drive runs as fast as you might think it would. So I think there's some kind of compatibility thing going on there that limits that. So I'm not really sure.
I'm realizing from this story that there's a lot of Brazilians in the chat. But yes, hello everyone to the Bay, to everyone. So
Oh yeah, Smuggler's Run. We can do Smuggler's Run right after this since these are the same
Yes,
developer. So I'm just going to drive around the city a little bit just to enjoy the... Now this is not a super impressive looking game compared to many others, but it was kind of an open world city environment, so which was kind of cool. This was a year before we would get Grand Theft Auto, obviously. So
that was also a big game, wasn't it? I remember seeing the trailers for GTA 3, and again, just I couldn't believe that this was going to be a real game. It just seemed like it couldn't do this. Like, this is beyond anything I knew. I didn't play PC, so I'm sure you had seen something.
it was pretty impressive at the time in general.
If I speak some Portuguese, but I used to be much better. But now I can read it fine, and I'm sure if you heard me speak Portuguese, you would tell me that's quite terrible.
Yeah.
I have spoken Portuguese with John though, because we usually go eat Brazilian food in this
That's right.
hometown, because they have an authentic Brazilian restaurant. So I do talk Portuguese when I'm there with them, and I'm sure
right.
they don't understand anything I say.
They just smile and nod.
Yes, it's like, oh, this silly person.
Oh my god, it's yeah, the way the controls kind of react, it feels like it's very easy to kind of spin out a little bit. Whew. It was cool to just have a big city like this, I think, at the time.
I mean, you had it in Driver 2, right? Like, that was one of those games that had the huge open city.
Yeah, but that was, since it was PS1, it was much worse looking. Like, this at least felt pretty impressive.
Someone's asking me what my favorite Donald Duck game is. Oh, man. Favorite Donald Duck. I love Going Quackers. I think that's an underrated game.
I love that too.
But I think Maho Noboshi on Super Famicom as a solid, like, straight up Donald Duck game might be the finest. That and the Master System Lucky Dime Caper.
Oh yeah, those are pretty good.
Yeah, Donald Duck Advance is very similar to those Master System games, and it's a very overlooked game. So if you want to check out a good, more modern Donald Duck game, check out Donald Duck Advance. Marmalade, of course. That was also another game I could have picked up in Brazil, which would have been 60 FPS. Didn't do it because I didn't know. You can only come up with a time machine.
All right.
How did you and Audi meet each other? We explained this earlier. There will be a chance for you to hear this story coming in the soon future.
Oh yeah. I mean, it's really just chatting online and then just happened to be at the same place. You know, there's a little more to it, but it went pretty well.
Yes. there's fun things involved there, but
That's
we
true.
will have a platform to tell the story soon.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Audi, thanks for the Brazil shout out. Of course, it was my second home for a long time.
Wow, so I'm just like in drive around free mode right now. And there's nothing.
Maybe next year you and John can do some coverage on the Brazilian game show. That's yeah, that would be fun. I would love to go back or just do something with Brazil again. It's been a while.
Absolutely, that would be cool.
I didn't realize that the person asking how we met sent in Norwegian kroners. I guess it's a fellow Norwegian.
Excellent.
50 kroners. Can buy yourself a here in Norway. You can't buy much for 50 kroners actually.
Can you buy one of those chocolate bars with MC Hammer Cow?
Yes, you can buy a Stratos bar, which MC Hammer did sing a theme song for.
That's
yeah, that would be about 40 kroners. So yes, I'll go buy one for you later, John, and then send it to you with this money that he sent you.
I think I see another super chat.
Perhaps.
If you want to read that out, I'm gonna switch over to Smuggler's Run. Actually.
Do you mean the one from Rafael David?
Yeah.
Yeah, it makes me go back in time remembering the saga to buy bootleg games and how impossible it was to find original ones in Brazil. Yes, when I lived there, I could not believe, because coming from Europe, I wanted to buy official games, and at the time, Harvest Moon, Magical Melody had come out, so I wanted to buy this for a GameCube, and I went to every shopping mall, every game store, and just got dirty looks for asking for the official game, but. I then realized in Brazil that's really not something you do. So
it's not something you do.
Why would you want to buy this officially? Silly. So.
Right. So that last game was Midnight Club from Rockstar. This is Smuggler's Run, also from Rockstar. I guess it would have been Angel Studios that did these. Smuggler's Run is coming up. This doesn't look amazing anymore, I'd say, but at the time it was cool to see large rolling terrain like they do here.
Someone was asking me if I went to Brazil. Yes, I used to live there for a bit, so I did definitely go there. I lived in Sao Paulo.
Pick a car. Okay, we're just gonna joyride. No objective.
Someone just realized the PVM there says DF Retro.
Heck yeah.
Right.
Thanks for doing that.
No problem.
Oni was not a launch game, I don't believe. No, that came a little bit later. And yeah, that was a weird one because that was a Bungie game. You're right.
Yeah, with anime graphics.
Yeah.
This had a surprisingly impressive looking GBA port. I haven't played it. Someone was asking us, how are Japanese arcades? Both you and I have lived in Japan, so
yes.
Japanese
awesome.
game centers are full of sound. Let's just say.
Yeah, I really enjoy it. Especially it's really interesting because a lot of them have like dedicated floors to certain games. Like
yes.
And so it's like multi-story affairs with different styles of games put on different floors. And I remember there was some big Gundam games being played back then, and so like they have these giant horse racing machines, I guess, where it's like a giant arcade kind of setup, and everybody gathers around and watches a big screen, if I recall.
Yep. Oh, there's so many small and big game centers. It's so fun to just go into a back street realizing there's a small game center there. And where have I not? Someone's asking where I haven't lived. Yes, I ask myself that question sometimes too. Only in later years have I realized that I did travel quite a bit. How do you feel about Sega closing down arcades? Yes, I saw the story this week that Sega Sammy is selling off some of their locations. Yes, and unfortunately downsizing the team. And back in the day, I had some projects with Wavemaster, which was the audio department for Sega, and unfortunately, I think some of those layoffs extended there. So
it's very sad. It's a sad day for everyone, and it's just this COVID stuff, man. It has caused a lot of problems this year for many people, and it's bad. It's bad for many reasons. Whoa, that's cool.
Yeah, it's. I can only hope that as COVID leaves us, we get a resurgence in all these activities. I think the arcade would be the best way to celebrate the
Yeah.
end of COVID, wouldn't it? Just sharing games and
I agree.
playing with other people. So
So
you mentioned earlier that someone in the chat owned an arcade in the UK.
I
So
know
I guess that's a place to go then.
exactly. Oh man, see, like this game is not exactly like a stunner anymore. But at the time, seeing the land outstretched before you in this way, just being able to see that far away, it was really, really cool.
Yeah.
And this was definitely an impressive game.
Was Orphan?
Oh
launch
yeah, it was, and I have it here. I should put that in for fun.
This is a game I definitely played a lot, and I don't think you're the biggest fan of it. But
I mean, it's all right, but it's pretty janky. It's got a
Yes.
lot of issues. Woohoo! Yeah, this is a pretty neat one to see. And I'm just in free roam mode, so there's no objectives right now. I just wanted to explore the world.
what a great launch lineup, though! Just looking at all these types of games you would have.
There's a lot of there's so much variety going on in this lineup, I'd say. And there's still tons of stuff we haven't touched. Even working designs was there.
No offense to the current consoles. I mean, they're fantastic hardware, but you don't have the variety in gameplay for
No.
the current launch lineup.
Absolutely not. It's pretty limited, sadly. But I mean, there's amazing games at launch, definitely. But yeah, the variety is low.
Someone's asking when the PC98 stream is coming. So PC98, trust me, the day we do that is going to be huge, but it's going to require a lot of setup, and I'm in the process of moving closer to John's place actually, and it's something that we'll do eventually. And I
Yeah.
have a huge PC98 collection, so don't you worry about that. That's going to be a fun one.
All right.
Someone Carbosilated is asking any plans to put the entire PS2 library on SSD internal.
No, but I like that idea. How big would that be? It'd be pretty large because there's a lot of DVD games.
Yes, it would be. I mean, the PS2 might have one of the biggest libraries of all time, right? In
Yeah,
terms of
it's
just number of
massive.
games. It's quite massive, yeah.
Okay.
What was the last one that came out? It was pretty recent, wasn't it? It was some kind of like sports update or Just Dance type situation.
Maybe so. I think let's see here. Let's what should we put in next, Audi? We got Street
Unfortunately,
Fighter
Phoenix Gate
EX.
launch.
Oh yeah.
But
Street Fighter EX 3, Gradius 3 and 4, Gun Griffin Blaze, Evergrace, Armored Core 2, and Orphan.
let's do Orphan just because I mentioned it.
Okay. All right, guys, you ready for some Orphan Scion of Sorcery?
I love Orphan. Don't you?
Anime
Come
game.
on.
It was also published by Activision in the West. Oh yeah, on most of my PS2 games, I actually kept these little stickers for some reason to stick them in there. That's so weird. All right, let's fire this up then.
Yeah, so this game I picked up specifically for the box art because I, in my limited research, seeing this game on the shelf, thought that this had something to do with Wild Arms because they had the same artist.
Right.
Not associated with Wild Arms, but it was a treat though. I really love just the cinematic adventure game, role playing aspect of this. Just it felt like an interactive anime, which was kind of exciting at the time. Someone's saying that the last PS2 game was Pro Evolution Soccer in 2014. Yeah,
Wow.
it felt like it was some kind of update of the sports game.
Of course, sports makes sense.
Yeah.
Love those sports ball games. Yeah, so actually, Madden 2001 was a big launch title for the PS2. Not my cup of tea necessarily, but it was a big deal at the time.
Meant nothing to me.
We got
You heard
Orphan.
that, America? It means nothing to me. Madden.
Orphan. They write
Someone
Orphan
This
twice.
game supports widescreen.
It does, but I'm not going to use it because I already have OBS configured to not widescreen.
PS2 was sold out in most stores. Yeah, I think here in Europe it was fairly easy to get it, but at least up here.
So we got some nice DVD quality animation sequences in here. You got to get that.
Someone's asking, with me living all around the world, would you play with other regions and switching TVs from PAL to NTSC? How did you work out this? Yeah, I mean, as I traveled, this was something I discovered a lot, was the difference between PAL and NTSC, which I was aware of it because I imported games when I was young, because my big brother was 7 years older than me, so he was already into all this by the time I was of age. And so I was already aware of it before I started traveling. But I realized people in general were not too aware of it, though. So in Germany,
That's right.
especially, people are still very much into collecting PAL specifically, and prefer sometimes to slow down that's associated
Yeah, I
with it.
know, it's so weird.
It's very strange, but I don't knock it. I mean, it's just if you have
Sure.
played it at a certain speed and remember the sound and the gameplay at that speed, you can definitely understand why.
Oh
I mean,
man,
these cutscenes were
they
so
look great at the time.
clear.
Yeah.
It's a
This-
great showcase of like the DVD quality. It's basically like a PC FX quality video, isn't it? Even-
No, it's MPEG 2, so it's just straight DVD video,
Yes.
which the GameCube and Xbox could not match, nor the Dreamcast. So not that video was that important back then, but they definitely struggled there.
The in-game cutscenes are also interesting because one of the people helping out with this was Satoshi Urishihara, who was the artist for Solstice Vulcan. So it all comes full circle. Urishihara is one of my favorite artists.
Oh yeah.
So, I won't tell you what his nickname is, but he's a great artist.
So this is another 60 frames per second game. It's not a stunning game, but it's, it looks okay enough. It's just got issues with the camera clipping through the walls.
Yes,
That's the thing that drives me nuts.
in PAL they still at 50 hertz. Not today, but in the PS2 era, this was. Yeah, it continued well into the PS2 era before we suddenly started getting games where we could select it at the beginning, where we could play in 50 or 60. But this was not the norm until the very late PS2 era. GameCube, however, had that a lot more featured.
I am
Ring
in,
of-
I am in
Oh, yeah.
Germany. I'm not from Germany, but I am in Germany. It's true. I am not using an emulator. I am using a fat PS2, if you will, which makes sense. Let's see here. And I'm connected to the Retro Tank. So actually, I could probably lower the camera so you can kind of see my stack there. Yeah, got the PS2, got the discs hanging out. I'm just popping them in as I play.
Note
So-
that John just said he's lowering his camera so you can see his.
I am actually getting tired, though. It's true. So probably gonna stop fairly soon. But
It is close to midnight, or now it's 11.
it's just after 11. But it's been a super busy week working on all these console launch stuff. There's a lot more coming.
I've seen there's been a lot of questions when you or we or whoever is doing new DF Retro. We are working on stuff all the time, but you are
Yeah.
very busy. I'm very busy, and
It's the problem is like right now because of the new console launches. I can't really afford the time to do the DF retros I want to do, so I kind of just have to focus in on the new stuff for now. And once we clear that challenge, I'll get back to some DF retro stuff. Absolutely, I've been waiting.
you and I have several in the tank that we started working on, and this and stuff too. So it's it'll be back.
Plus another project that's unrelated to DF. So
Yes,
lots of good stuff coming.
many secrets coming. You'll know very soon.
It's yeah.
Someone's asking where I work. I won't tell you. It's a secret to everybody. Why was the Xbox 360 and PS3 bad at frame rate?
Wait.
It wasn't necessarily that was the machines were bad.
Oh, it was frame rate's just a design choice. They could do 60 FPS. I mean, there was a 1080p 60 game at PS3 launch. It's really just they were pushing a lot of new technologies at the time on those GPUs at high resolutions. It was basically they were trying to do too much for what the GPUs could support. I think, and it just they ended up off. They aimed more for this modern techniques over frame rate, basically.
I do think that PS3 and Xbox 360, like if you just play the consoles themselves, I mean with backwards compatibility and stuff, you can probably fix a lot of them on Xbox. But just the sheer performance on a lot of those games, yes, is pretty horrendous to go back to. I find that more jarring than going back to PS1, for example.
Yeah. For the love of the game says, how's that Panzer DF Retro? Is it later this year? Oh my god, I promised I would do a second episode of that like 2 years ago. I never actually did it.
You have an excuse now because they're making new ones now, so you gotta wait until.
I do really
they're
want to
done.
do it. I just haven't sat I have to sit down and capture all of Panzer Dragoon Saga. Not that it's that long, but it will take some time. But
There's an interesting name in the credits of Panzer Dragoon Saga.
Oh yeah, Richard Ledbetter's in the credits in the
That he
Western
is.
version. Can't remember why. It's like a special thanks for something.
Yes.
Oh, I
think-
know why. Because he was the editor in chief of Sega Saturn magazine. They worked a deal to include the first disc of the game in the magazine.
Oh, that's right. I
basically.
did that. I remember that
Right.
promotion.
So because of that, it was kind of like thanks for getting him on the cover, and that's one heck of a demo disc.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. So we got the Zelda style chest opening sequence. Man, the camera's so fast in this game. It just zips around.
I love the design still, though. The fact that you have all these on-screen characters in your team and in 3D.
Yeah. I mean, it looks cool. Also, the animation they use for the sword is awesome. When you swing that.
Anime.
Oh no, her jeans are ruined. They're all complaining. I don't want to save data. No. So yeah, like this effect, like that looks good. The sword. Yeah, like it's not a horrible looking game or anything. It's not
No,
bad.
no. I had a lot of fun with this game. It's one of the games like we'll say PS2 launch. I always think about this and remember good times. So
Yeah, this is very early 2000s kind of game, isn't it?
someone's saying that Richard was in the Sonic R credits as well. I actually did not know that.
Really? Wow, that's kind of cool.
I wonder if Richard knows that.
I need to ask him about that. Oh, it's these guys. Oh man.
Richard did amazing to get that Panzer Dragoon demo disc back in the day. Yeah, what an insane promotion just to have the full first disc in there.
I know, it's true.
Not very long though, but I mean,
Man, the animation and cutscenes, it's all like that looping stuff
yeah.
where they just kind of, but it works. It's charming, I guess. Uh-oh, big things happening. And they zoom in close.
Ted Haggard saying, I have a Sony Trinitron KV29LS4OE that's gotten real blurry around the edges. Is it salvageable if you're a complete amateur? Ooh. Yeah, be careful with the CRT stuff. Dude.
Yeah, working on inside of oh man, if the mic audio is too low, by the way, I can't. It's literally maxed out. This is as loud as it gets on my setup. I'm not sure why, but yeah, the CRT stuff. It's tricky. You really got to be careful working on CRTs. And that kind of problem, it could be something. Steve from RetroTech, if you go look him up, he does amazing restorations of this stuff out there. There's a bunch of other places where you can kind of find information on this. I don't know anything about that screen or what the problem could be necessarily, but just be careful because it's so. Oh yeah, so it had this weird mix of fight scenes, didn't it?
Yeah, where, cinematic boss fights. Speaking of Ring of Pyro, do you remember Ring of Red?
Of course, strategy game from Konami.
Ring It's also quite overlooked. Another super chat. Why did PS2 have a small library of 480p games? Was it because of the 4 megabit VRAM, or
No.
PS2 dev were still learning the hardware? It seems Sony only gave their secrets to the first party dev to run their games in 480p.
So that's the thing is what we've learned with like the GS stuff, like in the homebrew, is that a lot of games actually used a full frame buffer already, and you can actually force many of them. Like any game that's not like using the interlace mode, like what I mean is the field rendering could pretty much be forced to 480p. So like Metal Gear Solid 2, Silent Hill games, you can do all of them in 480p. They just work. It's really just the developers didn't implement it in software because I guess none of it was done for them. You kind of had to, as I understand it, like everything had to be done kind of by hand in software, and a lot of them just there was no standard way to trigger that kind of stuff. So sadly, that's why. But there's like I said, there's ways around it. But I think PS2 is just best enjoyed on a 15 kilohertz CRT. It's just where it looks. That's where it looks its best.
Someone's asking what game this is. It's Orphan.
Scion of Sorcery, Sorcerer, Stabber, Orphan.
I believe there was an anime show of this. Or
There-
at least
yes,
an OAV.
There definitely was. Yeah, it might have just been OAV.
OVA. Sorry.
OVA, yeah. Not
It's,
OAV.
Gran Turismo 4 had 1080i.
Yes, it could output that, but it wasn't actually that full resolution. Naturally. Oh, man.
Would you guys agree that AAA game budgets are so bloated that's why we get the safer and less games on launch?
Probably. They also take longer to make. I mean, a lot of these, launch games were done in very short order. But it's just not really possible anymore.
Why did the PS2 have 4 MB of VRAM while Dreamcast had 8 MB VRAM and came out the whole year earlier?
I don't think Dreamcast had. Oh yeah, it did. You're thinking so the PS2. That's like the frame buffer size, and the PS2, you could use memory in different ways. It wasn't. It was more that they didn't have like any sort of like hardware texture compression, as I know. But there was actually ways to build your own texture compression scheme in software, because the GameCube only had 3 megabytes of frame buffer memory, so that's why a lot of games used lower color depths on there as well. So that actually wasn't the big limiting factor.
So For the Love of the Game is working on his 1 million donations here with $5 more.
All
And
right, heck yeah.
Protoculture by Dell the Funky Homo Sapien is like a Sega hardcore gaming anthem. I never heard it.
I should listen to that. I will listen to that then. Thank you for the love of the game. I'm going to take a note of that right now so I don't forget.
Oh no! We're sinking! We've gotta get out!
Let's do that. Cool. Maybe I should pop in one other game.
Let's do one more game. I think we played a lot of different games today. Let's. We've driven a car. We've gone snowboarding. We've taken part in an anime. Should we go to space? Should we play some Gradius?
Whew. I don't know if I'm up for those are awesome, but I'm not sure if I can actually handle it right now on the stream. It's a challenging game. Let's see here. I could put in. I know. Maybe I'll put in Dynasty Warriors 2.
All right, Dynasty Warriors 2.
Because that's one of those ones where it was something that really hadn't been done before in this way. To have like a battlefield full of like characters running at 60 frames per second was very, very cool.
I was very surprised by this game because I had picked up Dynasty Warriors on PS1, which is a fighting game, and I picked up 2 not knowing that they had changed gameplay styles.
Oh yeah.
Remember when I first put this in and played it, and I was like, "Whoa, what happened?"
So
I loved it, and I became a pretty.
That all ties into the whole issue where like this was the Sangoku Muso Shinsan Goku Muso
Mhm.
series in Japan. This was the first one of those. But because they decided to carry the Dynasty Warriors name forward in North America, this became two. And that
Yep.
started this whole thing of the localized versions of the Shinsen Gokumuso titles were always one number ahead in the West.
Pretty funny, yes.
And it's remained that way, I believe. Even though they've made like a billion spin-offs at this point.
Yeah, there's so many now. It was the Samurai Basara and all the and then now there's also that team is doing the Hyrule Warriors, right?
Yeah. Oh
So,
my
I mean,
god, look at this main menu. These like cool glassy cubes. I like those. Yeah. All right. Let's just go. We're just gonna run out in the battlefield and like, you know, attack some dudes. It's really just to showcase what they were trying to do at the launch of the system. Yeah, honestly, all the systems back then I think had pretty good launch lineups. Like all four during that time period.
I never picked up an Xbox. I'm not familiar with that launch, but I mean the GameCube
It had
launch
Halo,
was
dude.
fully amazing.
I mean, Xbox had Halo and Project Gotham
Yeah.
Racing, both of which were excellent, and Dead or Alive 3, also great. So
Yes,
it was
very
actually
good.
a solid lineup for the original Xbox, like really good. Huh. All these characters running at 60 frames per second, but there's tons of fog. So it's,
Yeah, this
but
is
at the
a
same
foggy
time,
game.
it was just like unusual to see like a game with a bunch of characters running around a screen like this at 60 FPS.
I had a friend that was very into this series, but he only played Nintendo for the most part. And then
Okay.
finally, we were gonna get a Dynasty Wars game on Nintendo, and that was Mystic Heroes. Do you remember Mystic Heroes?
Yes, that wasn't
Yeah,
great, was it?
that was not the game he wanted it to be. I think. I remember.
No. Do you
quite
remember
specifically.
Virtua Fighter Quest or whatever it was called?
I remember that, of course. That was fun though.
Yeah, that was actually okay. It was bizarre though. I mean, the real Virtua Fighter Quest is Shenmue,
Yes, of course.
which, by the way, Shenmue 3 runs at 60 FPS now on the PS5.
It,
Finally. But yeah. Okay, these are my friends.
empty this game is. I mean, as I haven't played this since probably 2001, 2002, and
Yeah.
in my mind, I remember this is much more busy in terms of like just environment, characters, all this. But this,
It's very empty, yeah. I mean, they
Very-
obviously improved in time, but
I guess, the mind's eye just filled out all these details that aren't really there back then.
hey, they were doing high frame rates back then, which is something that the series lost for a while.
It's still fun. It doesn't matter if it's empty or not. I mean, the gameplay was fun, and there's so much fun during this era of gaming.
It's more like the idea of like taking. It's fun to just kind of button mash a little bit, but it was like this like taking over the battlefield idea, where you have that map and you can kind of see, you're slowly taking over. It's fun.
Yeah, it's fun. And it's a power fantasy, much like Brawlers, where you just go on the streets and beat up, waves of people. This is the same concept. It's just
Yep.
in a war setting, which was very fun.
Yeah. Did you play this one early on?
This one?
Yeah.
Yeah. As I mentioned, I picked this up very early because I had the first one at PlayStation, and
Oh,
I
that's
picked
right.
up this
Yeah, you mentioned that.
fighting game, which I mean, no loss. This was fun. This was a lot of fun. I really loved 3 when 3 came out, and someone mentioned earlier Kessen. I mean, that was also so much fun.
Oh yeah. Ooh, can I? Uh-oh. I get stuck on the wall. I want to get that horse. I don't know if I thought I could. There he goes. Yes. Now we got the horse.
Someone's mentioned Bushido Blade. I love Bushido Blade, and I was waiting.
Oh yeah, Bushido Blade is
Or 3.
fantastic.
And some magazines announced Bushido Blade 3. It might have been announced by Squaresoft at the time. I don't remember. But I remember waiting for it. And I picked up all these other games like Kengo by Geki.
Oh yeah.
and
Kimbo.
Way of the Samurai. I picked up all those games,
those
kind
are
of
great.
wanting something samurai-ish and Bushido Blade type, like first strike kill gameplay. But we never got Bushido Blade 3, unfortunately. Should bring it back today.
You should. I agree.
Someone says you should play the Castlevania Lament of Innocence. Man, the Castlevania games on PS2, I actually like them a lot.
I do too. They're quite fun.
We did not play the Bouncer today. I think the Bouncer we should reserve for
Yeah.
episode.
I
So
agree.
There's so much fun with that game.
Okay, so that's interesting. But yeah, we should probably get ready to wrap up, I think. So I'm just gonna put this in while we finish up. Where'd it go? I was playing it earlier. Oh, I know. It's in my other machine. So many PS2s. I have a large selection of PS2 consoles of different colors, types.
They scatter your house.
There's a lot. But I would like to
Okay.
put this in just for fun because, you know, the music's great. And we are talking about that triple. No, we're actually talking about Street Fighter EX3,
Yes.
which is
Yeah.
a
Amazing soundtrack.
it does. It's not an amazing game, but it's not bad.
Oh, I mean, for me, huge Street Fighter fan, this was one of the reasons why I picked up the PS2. And it's different, but I actually love the EX games. And this was basically, it wasn't a full sequel, it was more like an update.
Right.
Which I enjoyed. I mean, the graphics are interesting, though, because they went with this pseudo-realistic style, which, yeah, I mean,
Absolutely.
a cup of tea. But I like some of the design choices here, because I think Arika's design, original characters are really cool.
I agree.
So I actually, John, you know this. I picked up the arcade board for.
Oh, yeah, Fighting Layer.
Yeah, I have the original PCB, so I'm a huge fan of the EX series in general. Super chat. Just double checking. PS2 doesn't support anti-aliasing at all, but does it have flicker filter? Even though
does.
Guilty Gear X2 has AA off on, it's actually FF.
So, like, really, so yes, the PS2 can do flicker filter. It just depends on the game. The developer has to implement it themselves. And flicker filter is actually what people mistook anti-aliasing for. Everybody used to say, oh, the Dreamcast has anti-aliasing. It doesn't have anti-aliasing. It has a flicker filter on a non-progressive display. I think the hardware technically could do it, but I don't believe any shipping games actually used it. And it's really the same on Xbox and GameCube, especially GameCube. Again, Xbox probably could have done something with it, but it's not something you would have seen too much. So yeah, well, I'll just let this go for now. But yeah, so I'm kind of feeling like probably gonna hop off here because we've been at this for over 2 hours now. Just kind of a hangout stream. Again, hopefully you guys enjoyed just kind of watching some PS2 games. Obviously, I didn't get to go through all of them, unfortunately, because there's just too many, and I don't have time to do that. But this will go up. This will be up on the channel still, so you'll be able, if you wanted to check out, like, you know, the first game I played was Ridge Racer, and oh man, check out that like cool reflection effect they do there.
Oh yeah,
It's kind of weird. What the heck are they doing with the background parallaxing?
I'm sure one day we will do something cool with the EX games.
I do like these games. But yeah, so you know, hopefully you guys enjoyed it. It's totally kind of a different thing, I guess, compared to the hustle and bustle of that next gen coverage action. But yeah, so thanks for joining me, Audi.
Oh, as always, it's so much fun. So hope to see you again.
Thank Vivi as well. So since she handled the stream for 20, 30 minutes. So, all right. Well, everybody, thank you very much. Have a good night, good afternoon, wherever you are. And yeah, we'll do. I'll be doing more of these streams coming soon. And yes, this week we'll probably do a next gen stream, so we can mess around with